might be a little heavy on the hand, but I learned from living life on the land. That when the flames get hotter, you move deeper water. That's where I learned to
You ever seen turtles fuck?
And you know I don't really
It's
give
fucking
a
awesome.
damn.
They laid eggs like
Underneath
fucking
that
I mean, they do, but they gotta fuck still.
Why when shit
It's
gets there,
hilarious.
I reach
I remember
for
the
the
first time
liquor,
I saw
load 'em
turtles
up
fuck.
and flip a bird to the man.
Anyway. All right, let's get into how's your dick. All right, let's get into this thing here. Let me get the dog hair off the old microphone. Welcome to Vikings, Outlaws, and Cowboys. You're looking at the Outlaws here. This is my cheeky compadre Boat. For those of you who don't know, he's the balls in the shaft when it comes to editing the podcast. Welcome back again, my guy.
What is up, my guy? God, I missed you.
Yeah, we got some things to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah. This
Yeah.
is awkward.
Should we do it first day style? Like, give it up?
Yeah. So,
So,
tell me about yourself.
what'd you do today?
Yeah, pretty much. So, yeah, we kind of had like a little bit of a weekend, you know. We're, you know, what are we? 8 days out? 8 days out. So that's cool. It's we're kind of getting back on track now. I had to run out of town for a little bit, so that affected us. It's been a lot of shit going on. And then
Yeah.
I think I have to go back out of town again. When the fuck I gotta leave Tuesday.
Oh, you do?
Tuesday? Yeah. The
Is that business or pleasure?
I mean, it's always business. I just have a little bit of pleasure. No, I've heard that the governor is going to come grace us with his presence up in up at the
fantastic.
meadery. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So
we're
that'll
gonna-
be that'll be the tail end of, you know, we were talking a couple weeks back on the cast about how like just this next month and a half was going to be absolute just go. You know, just craziness. So that'll be the tail end of that, right?
fuck. I don't know. Things just keep
Ish.
popping up.
Well, that's
So,
pretty cool.
Yeah.
The
So
governor?
we'll get into that here in a minute. We got some sweet new men's health topics to go over. We got some fresh topics, so we're not rehashing anything old.
I like
I'm
it.
excited to see how this comes out.
I'm super
So
excited.
yeah, I had to throw travel in there to see, you know, if that recharged the old batteries. I think maybe it did a little bit. Back to school, right? You're a single dad. You're worrying about back to school right now, pal.
Oh yeah, man.
Social media. We've talked about that a little bit. Talked about not the topics that we're going into today, though. A little bit of loneliness in the digital age, and the conspiracy corner. We'll just wait to let everybody know on that. But we got some cool shit. We got some explosive topics, as some would say.
If you've
Foreshadow.
been watching the news lately,
Foreshadow.
you may or may not know
You
what
may
we're talking about.
or might not. But yeah, so I just came back from Nashville, and my plan is to sell everything, and I'm gonna move there and become a country singer.
Hey, I think that's a great plan.
No, fuck that. All the way. Holy fuck. It's a great time.
Oh man,
It's a great time. Not knocking Nashville. It's a great time. But I'm pretty much done with cover bands for a while. Like cover bands in 90s country usually gets me, but you know, after 2 nights of it, I was like, okay,
You're like,
all
I'm
right, we
done
got to
with
go
it.
somewhere else. We found a rock bar, Justine and I did,
Hey, they're nice.
and nobody wanted to stay there, so they went down the street. I mean, the real story is one of us, the tall guy, couldn't get in.
Why not?
It's a little sauce. It was a little sauced. Tall guy couldn't get in.
Tall guy.
Tall guy
Damn
couldn't
it,
get in.
man.
So, and it was after we'd already got in, and yeah, they started playing like some killer covers, you know. And there was like a dude singer and a female singer,
Oh, nice.
They rocked the house. Yeah, we brought the house down. So we stayed there all night. It was pretty fun. I couldn't get Justine out of that place. She was having a good time.
Yeah, that's her jam, bro.
Yeah,
Especially
yeah.
if it was like 80s rock. That's yeah.
No, it was all like good. It was like good shit. She's just not super into the 90s country.
Yeah, I'm not either. I mean, hats off to them for doing it and keeping it alive in the 90s, but I'm not a huge 90s country guy either. I'm like a 70s, early 80s country, and then like kind of nowish, like in the last 5 years country guy. Yeah, outlaw country guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I like 90s country. I mean, they peppered in some of the new stuff and everything, but you can only hear the same song so many times. It's like you walk out of one bar and it's like the other guy's just starting the song that you just finished listening to. You're like, God.
And it's not Waylon Jennings.
No, they did play some Waylon though. There was some cool Waylon songs. There's some good bands for sure. There's lots of talent out there. I see why they go out there to make it
to try to
break it.
Yeah, strike while the iron's hot.
Yeah, no, it's fun though. I would go back again. We saw a lot of history while we were there too. We went to
and you're a big history buff.
Yeah.
If the folks out there listening don't know, this guy knows his history, man.
Yeah, we went to Andrew Jackson's place. The president.
Yeah, yeah,
like,
the one guy,
like number 7. Saw the bed that he died in, so that was cool.
Oh, that's a little morbid. But sure, yeah, that's cool.
I'm pretty sure there wasn't a bed in the house that somebody didn't die in.
Did they have it like glassed off, like with bulletproof glass? Like you couldn't.
It was very much glassed off. I forget what the Hermitage. So that was cool. Saw some deer.
Deer are fun.
Yeah. So it was a fun trip. Had a fun gang out there. My liver's still recovering, but since we're doing the podcast, I'm all zinned up and got whiskey and oddly enough Coronas. So I don't know how the fuck they got here or who the fuck brought them.
They've been in there like the whole time you were gone.
No, there's a whole fucking case. I don't even know. Like, I think Mom was getting sauced while she was watching the boys.
Yeah, no kidding.
She went with the Mexican.
Did she at least put them in the fridge?
They were in the fridge. They're so cold. Yeah,
that's fantastic.
Really looking forward to this little change.
Yeah, yeah. Is that so? You got a little bit whiskey, you got a little Corona. That's what's gonna get you through tonight, there, fella.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
Yeah.
I could just fall over dead, like at any second. It's gonna be touch and go for a little while. Moving on though, in other news, we got our fire report.
New segment.
The United States is burning.
Isn't most of California on fire right now?
When is it not on fire, guy?
Right? That fire never dies.
Yeah, I mean, we got fires crossing the border like Iranians on the southern border. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was hoping that you didn't forget about the fire report because I had a little bit of California fire news for you.
I'm trying to figure out. I mean, Canada's it's ablaze. But nowhere in Mexico. There's like 3 fires in Mexico. I don't understand how these guys are doing it.
I don't know, man.
Yeah. I mean,
only they can prevent forest fires.
That's true. Yeah. There's a few in Montana. But you know who the biggest offender is right now? California. Like always.
Yeah. Like half the state's burning, dude. From like the southern border up to about central.
Dude, it is bad.
It is bad. I saw a thing on the news today about that. I was like, oh my God, man. We got to put that in the fire report.
Yeah, we have like Oregon and Idaho's burning too. It's just every sunset is red out here.
Yeah.
In the west.
Yeah, every sunset for like a week has been red, and then we got a pretty hairy fire up Enzyme Peak here about a week ago, and they were able to put that out within a couple days.
Yeah,
But
little guy's all snuffed out now.
yeah, he's all snuffed out now, but that kind of left us with red sunsets, and it's just been red ever since because we're getting everybody else's smoke blow over.
Yeah.
But I mean, it makes for great photos.
I mean, Utah pretty much catches everybody's smoke all the time, right?
Yeah, we do.
So
well, the 4 surrounding states plus California are always on fire.
It's nuttier than squirrel shit out there, guys. It is hot. I'll tell you what, though.
In many ways.
Bringing Nashville back up, that humidity, like I forgot about, like I knew, it was going to be humid, but I forgot what it was like to just walk around in the humidity. And it's a good thing I took jorts, because it was wild.
I bet them jorts were sticky after the day.
Dude. Yeah, I had to wring them out a couple times. It was weird too, because it was like 85 with like 80-90% humidity, which is cool. You get a nice little glisten. You look like you just got done warming up for a boxing match.
Yeah, sure.
And like we land here and it's 98 at the airport, and I'm like, oh, this feels amazing. This is there's like a slight breeze. This is good. I will take dry heat.
When did you guys land? Was it Sunday afternoon?
Sunday, yeah, Sunday, late Sunday, or 4, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I went and played golf on Sunday, and it was nice, dude. I mean, it was warm, but that breeze was blowing, and I mean, it kept it tolerable.
Yeah, after all the humidity, like the blow dryer effect of Utah was fantastic.
It was home sweet home.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
So that wraps up the fire report. So that segment was hot. All right.
Brought to you by Smokey the Bear.
Brought to you by NASA and I don't know who the fuck else that map was, but yeah. And yours truly here at the Bearded Viking. So let's just jump right into this men's mental health thing, huh? What do you think?
Yeah, I'm ready.
We really got some topics to burn through.
Yeah, there was quite a few on there. I was surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you've been thinking about these for a day or two. No,
just jotted them down.
Just ran them down.
Really slammed them down. About 7:45. Anyway, so back to school, right? It might not seem like a men's mental health topic, but there's lots of single dads out there, and then there's, dads that are not single, and it's still fucking like me. I got to take those guys to school and stuff, get them ready in the morning. How's that impact you? Like, I know the summer's like one thing, right? Because you have your kids, and I love my kids, but you have them all the time.
Yeah, you don't get a break.
I don't know about you, but it's constantly dad, with like some off the wall fucking question. Like, how do turtles fuck? Like, just random shit, dude. All fucking day.
Well, with me, it's a good thing during the summer because we go 50-50 during the summer with me and my ex, and we're really good about it. And I have to do some travel here and there, and then her work schedule fluctuates a little bit, so we're really good at kind of batting the ball back and forth on I need an extra day, can you pick up an extra day here or whatever. And that's been really good, and we can communicate that way and get things done. So as far as the everyday thing, I have them when I have them, but they're a little bit older, and they take care of themselves, they kind of feed themselves. Like I kind of miss the days of them waking up and wanting me to cook them breakfast, and now they're just like microwaving a pizza for breakfast. I'm like, okay, what I mean?
Welcome to college.
And Yeah, it was like, you sure you want to start doing this now? Because
Yeah.
uh, but yeah, so it's 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 been a pretty good summer with them, and we were able to get out and go camping and do some things together, which has been a lot of fun. And but as far as school starting, um, I mean, you found a little bottle opener, did you, guy?
I found a knife.
Ah, there you go. That works. Um, uh, it in a way, it's a relief because I can kind of get on a regular work schedule, and with pickup and drop off is or drop off and pickup, um, that's a little bit stressful. Drop off more because the older they get, the harder they are to wake up. You know what I mean, and get going in the morning. And they just do not want to get up and they don't want to get going, and that's going to be my next struggle and with the men's mental health thing, and that hits hard, dude. Like,
Well, you got to be like more like kinder and gentler.
yeah, with
I just
them.
go in and like start flipping lights on and opening blinds and just
Pulling
throw
blankets off.
like
Yeah.
throwing stuffed animals at them till they
Like,
wake up.
get up. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was weird because the little one used to be really hard to wake up, and the big one, she was just up, like her internal alarm clock was just there. And then like last year, it it did a 180. And the little one, sometimes she'd be up like before me, and I get up at like 5:30. You know what I mean? To kind of get myself mentally ready to to get them going, because I know it's going to be a battle. And yeah, I mean, there was a bunch of times where she was up before me and she's like, "Hey, what's up?" And she's already dressed and everything, and I'm like, "Oh, all right, you want to help me get your sister up, because she is dragging major ass."
There's
you know
nothing that I want to get up and mentally prepare for at 5:30 in the morning.
Dude, I have to, or else like I'm just mean, you know what I mean? And I'm short with them, and yeah, it's not pretty. So like I literally have to wake up, exercise a little bit, get my mind going, get a little bit of water in me, and start mentally preparing, because if not, it's just an absolute shit show, and we're yelling at each other, and it's just not fun.
Yeah, no, that's not the yeah. Sound like Porky Pig over here. Bleed, 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 bleed. Uh, yeah, I don't look forward to that. They're starting a new school, so
Oh,
we're gonna
okay.
see how that works out. And really, the pressure's on because I have to wake up even earlier now, and I'm
Oh,
not an early guy. You know,
not an early morning riser, huh?
working from home for like 14 years, dude. That's like wake up like 15, 20 minutes, get some coffee, and then I'm back in the saddle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's kind of the thing too,
can't do
is
that now.
I I've been the school dad forever, like since before Olive was born. I think it's about the same amount of time, like maybe 15, 16 years. I've been at home, short of maybe that one year where we had the office together. What was that, 6 months, a year, something like that? I can't remember.
That was like a year. I don't know. That was in like 2011-ish, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
so tack on that one, it's about 17 years. But at the same time, so I was accustomed to working from home before Olive was born, and like from the time she was a baby, I was working at home and taking care of her, and then it's just kind of gone from there. So like I'm used to it, but at the same time, like every year around this time, it's like, oh, thank God. But then you look at all the school responsibilities you got to take care of. You know what I mean? The assemblies, and the science fairs, and the book reports, and the homework, and all that. And I'm honestly not looking forward to.
Yeah. I feel like, and I could be totally off base with this, but I feel like, and I have lots of teacher friends now, and they're it's probably a good thing they don't listen to this, so I probably won't catch much heat from them. But I feel like you should be able to teach my kid in 8 hours enough where they don't have to do homework.
Yeah.
Like, why is this
Yeah.
shit on me? I don't want to fucking relearn fractions.
Right.
Like, you know what? I put that shit into Excel and it does it all by itself. Like, it's fantastic. It's made us all significantly dumber. More dumb?
Yeah.
More dumb.
Or
It's
dumb.
made us all
Yeah.
more dumb. Yeah.
Dumber.
Case in point.
Yeah.
Case in
San
point.
Diegans. San Diegans.
Yeah, Will's vagina.
San Diegans.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, I don't look forward to the homework and stuff either, you know, and like the whole school dad thing. I'm totally getting where you're, you know, I'm sniffing what you're shitting because,
Yeah.
you know, I think Justine and I, we split the whole school thing like 75-25. That math? Yeah, that maths. Because like most of the people didn't even believe that I had a wife. They're like, no,
Right.
no,
Yeah.
just some weird dude talks to everybody,
Security guy. Yeah.
drops them off. It's kind of scary.
Yeah.
I feel bad for those kids, but yeah, like she does like the schoolwork and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
So she helps out with the schoolwork and everything.
Yeah.
When they're at home. But yeah, as far as to and from and getting them there for field trips, and I'm not really a volunteer guy because
Yeah,
I think
me
I scare most of the kids. So I feel it's probably not very conducive to a learning environment.
Yeah, they've been trying to recruit me to the PTA for at least 5 years, and I'm like, nah, you don't want me on the PTA.
Yeah.
No.
If you want the
I'm-
moms to be safe, you should not be on the PTA.
Exactly.
Especially if there's
Especially
something
if
that's
they're
thicker than a
single.
Snicker.
You know what I am looking forward to though? I am looking forward to this weekend. I golfed with a buddy of mine, who has a kid that's in school with my daughters, and old school buddy. I've known him forever, and we like click at pickup, right? And we have this little alt parents like crew that we hang out with. So I'll go like 15-20 minutes early, and we all gather by the flagpole. You know, it's me, him,
Just drinking
this
beers at the
hairdresser.
flagpole.
Yeah, exactly, dude. And like this hairdresser, you know, those chicks are crazy. She's super awesome. And then and then a couple others. And we just hang out and bullshit. And yeah, and I mean, if we got the day off, you know, I'm taking a roadie over there and hanging out, and I like, you know, making the kids scared, you know what I mean, when I bring the car up and all that kind of stuff. So I am looking forward to that. That is it's like the only solace I get, or like the only my only happy times during school year, because then, you know, we only have a couple months of that, and then it's going to start snowing, and snow is bullshit. And then, you know, and then that'll last like 6 months, and then we have a couple months of spring, and then into summer, and then we're done again. But like,
You really
yeah.
ran through those months, man.
oh yeah, dude.
So
It's a whirlwind. It's a blur. I hate it.
bottom line, back to school is stressful, right? Because you got to buy the clothes, you got to do all that shit. And I don't think that like it's really looked at as like a men's mental health topic. But for dudes like us,
Yeah.
it's kind of a big deal, right?
Yeah.
You know, Vico doesn't really have to worry about that shit anymore, but the face does. You know, he has to get the kids right. You know, he's got to make sure the kids are going to school
4
and everything
times
else.
over.
Yeah, you know. So I think it's kind of it's a totally different dynamic than it used to be, right? Because so many people are working from home now. So, you know, some of us before COVID, some of us after, and I don't know. It's cool that they go to school because then I have like uninterrupted time to do the shit that I need to do as far as like
actually
work
get shit done.
goes, and getting it all
Naps
knocked
go,
out.
and yeah.
Oh man, there's been like no time for naps. It's been really fucking frustrating, you know. I'm like, I'm gonna catch some Z's at the end of the day. Sam's like, why are you always sleeping? I was like, it's 3:30, leave me alone.
It's siesta time,
Go
my guy.
go fight your brother.
Right.
No, but yeah, I think it's kind of an overlooked stressor. for some.
Yeah.
Maybe more than others. You know, you got like blue collar dads and shit that they got to go out and run like a backloader or, you know, some shit like that, or go do construction, like something like hardcore, something that like one of us that we'd probably die doing.
Too hot
Like
in that damn thing, man.
kudos to those fucking guys, dude. Because
Yeah, no
you know,
shit.
yeah, I ran a Mini X for like a whole day at the property a few weeks ago, and I was like, this is cool for the first 10 minutes.
Yeah. Like, I'm glad I don't do this for a living.
Her Mini X? Yeah, it was a Mini X. I don't know what it was. But it is a marketable skill. So,
oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, this whole you know, VOC thing doesn't pan out for us. I can go drive a Mini X, or maybe I can graduate into the big kid one. Yeah.
You
big
get
boy.
forklift certified
Yeah,
in no time,
you
bro.
better watch out, dude. I'll get that forklift certification.
I could snatch your job,
Yeah,
man.
you better watch out. Amazon warehouse guy. So we're talking about, I think this kind of follows the whole school thing, right? Because we've talked a lot about social media and how it's kind of ruining what we got going on as far as the kids and stuff goes. But the social media aspect on men's mental health, we've talked about how you can just scroll and scroll and scroll for days and you just zombie out, right?
Mm-hmm.
It'll really kind of fuck up your day if you get sucked into it. You know, generally, I don't do much scroll time during the day. I'll do a little bit, but usually I have like a podcast on, and if somebody sends me something, you know, I'll respond back or whatever. But it'll just suck you in. So we've talked about.
Oh yeah, it sucks you in so quick, dude.
Yeah, and then you're just drooling on yourself. It's like you started at 10 and it's like noon. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I missed 3 meetings. But so I, you know, the I guess these two things kind of go hand in hand for me, like the travel and the social media impact, because when I'm traveling or camping or doing whatever, you never really pick up your phone. At least I don't. And like you come back to a gajillion messages and stuff like that, and that's all well and good, but not having to worry about it unless you're like trying to text your buddy to figure out where the fuck what bar they went to or something like that.
Yeah.
Or
I mean, you're busy doing other shit. You know what I mean? You're preoccupied with life. You know, and I think that's kind of what, you know, what sucks you in. I mean, people that have downtime, and you know what I mean, and especially this, you know, new work from home culture too. You know what I mean? You have so much time to just sit and scroll and scroll and scroll. And I'm guilty of it just as much as anybody else. I'm trying to do better at it. And some days are better than others. Like I said, like you know, people have compared it to, you know, a drug or something like that, and it really is. You know, and the problem is though, is like it's like chasing the dragon, bro. It's like you don't get the same high as you did when it was brand new. You know what I mean? And it's like a lower and lower and lower and lower dose, because it's just not as satisfying anymore. And like I'll find myself like burning, you know, a half an hour just flipping through shit, and I'm like, I am no better off. I should have just went and made a sandwich. This is so dumb, you know. And I don't know. Like,
well,
I'll message back and forth on social media with about like 4 or 5 different people, and really like I'll just go on and see some notifications and try to respond to them real quick, and then get sucked into you know, some stuff or some cool knives or some tattoo stuff or whatever. And then I'm like, but now I feel like shit, like absolute garbage. You know what I mean? Because I just burned 20 minutes just flipping through this fucking thing.
Yeah. So, and with that too, like part of your job is social media, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
it's fucking Rob. Anyway, so. so part of your job is social media, right? And you know, like the kind of the production of, you know, our commercials and posts and stuff like that. So you're on the Bearded Viking page, you're on your page for BVMC, you're on
Yeah, the work
your
page.
personal page. So you like, you think you post a badass video, right? And then you get like
Yeah.
4 likes out of it, and you're like, what did I do wrong?
Yeah.
And then like you post some dumb shit, and it's like through the roof, right? Because of the algorithms and stuff like that. You're like, so you get that social
You get
media bump,
Yeah, you
you
get
know?
that high. Yeah, you do. You
Yeah.
do. You
You're like,
really
oh
do.
shit, I did something good today, and then you're just like,
Right.
okay, because you checked it, and it's like, ding, 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 things are popping up, getting messages, and
Yeah.
it's like I know, uh, is it it's you, right? The thing's Facebook is dead. That nobody goes
Yeah.
on Facebook, or is that JT? I don't remember.
No, it was me. But I guess
We we get
since then I
so
kind of
much more interaction on Facebook than
yeah,
we do.
we get a ton. And I guess since I started looking at that through Bearded Viking too, I've noticed that that a lot of people our age and a little bit older, they're all Facebook. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And they're holding tight to that. And I don't blame them, you know. And you're right. We get a way more interaction with comments and likes and just funny stuff and fun stuff through Facebook than we do any other.
Yeah, I think people are just not as comfortable with messaging back and forth on Instagram as they are
Yeah.
uh, with Facebook for whatever reason.
Or
But
TikTok, because you figure like, you know, like take somebody like mom. You know what I mean? She's had her Facebook forever. Could you imagine mom on TikTok, like with a TikTok account?
no more than me with a TikTok account.
You know, and it's kind of like no way are these people
I
gonna
I
like try
would
to figure out a new SM app and then figure out the messaging and then be comfortable like, you know, with some back and forth banter on it. You know what I
there's
mean?
been there's been a couple of times where I've like been on Instagram and almost sent some dumb shit because I was like recording myself on accident. Like I pressed the wrong button. I was like, oh well, that could have been a winner. Um,
That could have turned out really
yeah,
bad.
that could have got me unhired. But no, I think that like the mental health aspect of it, because it's loosely based on, the way we kind of did the topics tonight, is getting away from it is definitely a good
Mhm.
thing. And it's kind of to the point now where you can't really undo it. That train is on the tracks, but so
Yeah.
many people go down those rabbit holes and they're there for a really, really long time. Just like we were talking about, getting stuck with scrolling and everything like that. And just how quickly that can impact your mental health, especially if you post something that you think is fucking hilarious, which,
Right.
you know, I do often, but nobody ever sees my shit because I never post anything, right?
Right.
So when it comes to stuff like that, you're like, oh, well, maybe that wasn't as funny as I thought, or, you get a bunch of likes, then you get that freaking, you get that chemical burst in your brain. You're like, oh yeah, you get all them endorphins and everything. And you're like,
Hmm.
this is cool. Social media rocks, you know? So the ups and downs and the highs and lows, I am curious to see how, uh, you know, and obviously jump in the comments and everything, how that impacts everybody daily, and
Yeah.
just really what they do to get through their day, whether they're just stuck there on their phone and, just going through those highs and lows all at the same time, or whether they cut it off. Because I know, just because I just came back Sunday,
Hmm.
was on social media like zero, and had a great time.
Yeah, you were non-existent on social media and yeah, had a fantastic time. Well,
Yeah,
and that's another thing too is I think it getting away from I think one of the biggest things is chasing those highs, you know what I mean? With
that's a
posting
good point. Yeah,
Yeah, with posting every single thing you do. Like you, as you know, as the Jarl for Bearded Viking, you could have been like, "Hey, look what we're doing," you know what I mean? And taking all these pictures and and posing with the guys and doing all this kind of thing. You could have done that all weekend. Well, what does that leave you? That leaves you stuck to your phone, stuck to you chasing that high, and stuck to you, feeling the punch in the gut when when you didn't get 20 likes on on a photo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then, then being annoying as fuck to boot, right?
Yeah, exactly. You got 36 different stories going on, and that absolutely drives me nuts with people. You know what I mean? Like posting everything to their story. Like I go to this festival, and there's like literally 30 you got to flip through, and I'm just like, fuck that person, I'm gonna mute them. You know what I mean? And and it's just like, wow. And then there's the other side too, where you you're on there, you see something that you like, you repost it, then someone has a different opinion, then you guys are fighting in the comments, and that's kind of killing your mood. And I don't know. I mean, in a lot of ways, we've said this before. In a lot of ways, it's made us, social media has made us super unsocial, and I think that the more that you monitor yourself and kind of monitor that that chasing that high, the better. Because like you said, you go out to Nashville, you have just a fantastic time with friends and do some great things, but nobody has to know.
Right.
They don't have to know. You know what I mean?
And that's the thing too, is like it's kind of a double-edged sword, right? Because of what we're doing. And that kind of like it kind of hits me in the mental health a little bit too, is because I'm like, if I was better at my job, I'd probably take some videos and post some stuff. But I would just rather chase my wife around and try and grab her butt, as we're walking around like these museums and shit, So that's
exactly.
That's just more fun for me. And I was on vacation, right? So, I never want to be one of those guys that is posting all these fun things and everything like that. So everybody looks and they're like, oh man, these guys' lives are awesome. Like nothing wrong ever happens, just shit like that. I'm like, no, we go on vacation, we have fun, but it's our fun, right? And I think that's important to remind yourself, when you're doing different things and like having experiences and like, hell yeah, we took some pictures and some videos and stuff like that. And for a lot of it, I just live in the moment, but those are pictures and videos that, people, close friends and everything and family, they'll get to see.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not stuff that we're just going to run out and post on social media just because we want everybody to see, how cool we are, how much fun we have. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean?
See, in my personal, I keep it it's not public. So the only people that can follow me are our friends and family,
Mm-hmm.
And I'm okay sending that kind of stuff to them, you know what I mean? And hey, check this out. And sometimes I think I can get fucking annoying because
100%.
Sorry, bro.
Gotcha, bitch.
I'm trying to wrangle it in, man.
Your commercials have been very funny though. The last couple weeks.
That.
Yeah, I've been laughing at that. I'm like, what the fuck? What did you call it? Mead Mondays?
Meeting Mondays, bro.
Mondays.
Yeah, you gotta check them out.
That shit's funny. If you guys aren't following the boat and you haven't seen the Mead Mondays, you need to get the fuck on board because that shit's pretty funny.
They're a lot of fun, dude. And
you know what? Through the winter, you have to go sit outside in the same spot.
Out on the patio. Yeah, I will. I'll like shovel it off.
Yeah, I'll be like, well,
sit on a plastic bag.
The boat's not gonna make it to the podcast tonight. He got pneumonia.
Right. I thought it'd be fun to take a little bit different twist on it and just say, hey, let's have a little bit more fun with it and see what we can do with the algorithm. As we have kind of our our regular stuff that we do and on our posts and kind of what we focus on as far as marketing goes and stuff like that. And that's all kind of taken care of, and I thought we'd have a little bit of fun. So I'm enjoying having a lot of fun with that, and we're gonna be doing Meeting Mondays, man. It's gonna be awesome. Might even pull somebody in there with me.
Don't you let the people down.
It's a lot of fun.
But yeah, I mean we're kind of coming full circle, right? Of how much fun it can be, but at the same time, how draining it could be too. Because if you're
Yeah.
constantly chasing it and I can't imagine what it's like to be like a full-time content creator.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I think the lights are dimming in here. Something's happening. My lights could just be going out. I don't know.
Is it stormy out at your place?
No, not even a little bit.
Because sometimes like your internet's slowing down just a little bit
Is
too.
it?
Yeah,
Who
just a little
fucking?
bit.
Oh, you know what?
I
It's
don't know.
probably
It's
it's
weird
probably
shit.
it's probably the fire report. Let's get rid of the fire report. It's a real
Fire
internet.
report.
It's a real internet.
It's
suck.
a real internet suck.
It's really
Yeah.
lighting the internet on fire.
It's got to constantly update, bro. It's got to
Yeah,
keep us. It's got to
as
keep us
the
in the loop.
fires come. So yeah, it's a slippery slope. This internet. No, but it can be a lot of fun, right? But I can't imagine what it's like to be one of those people that is a full-time content creator, just trying to think up, trying to think up new shit all the time to make people laugh or to do whatever they're doing, right? Because we have to, we do this, once a week, once every like week and a half, and coming up with good, meaningful topics. Because I think once you lose the meaningfulness of it, you've pretty much lost your message. As far as I'm concerned, there's lots of funny shit out there on the internet, but we're not doing, funny shit. We're talking about men's mental health as far as Vox concerned, and kind of going down that road, right? So trying to come up with really not content, but ideas and topics that actually are meaningful, I think is difficult sometimes.
And that people that can relate to, you know what I mean?
Right.
And keep it relatable. And I think, we've both felt kind of the struggle with that. And we're not even necessarily content creators. Like I don't consider myself a content creator or anything like that, or a YouTuber or any, or that
Right.
kind of thing, It's like we're not living and dying off of this stuff. We do this because we care and we want to, and we want to get a message out. And I can't imagine what it'd be like, having to live and die off of, thinking up content and being original and being, trying to, do something that'll make it go viral again, because could you imagine, dude, like those people that go viral, and it's mostly it's off of just rando shit that they never thought they'd go viral over. They go viral, and then could you imagine trying to chase going viral
Dude,
again?
they're chasing the rabbit. They're chasing the rabbit constantly.
God, dude.
The mental strain of that. Like I get fucking hurt when there's like 30 views and the podcast has been up there for like a week and a half. I'm like, well, fuck you guys. but there's no telling like what's gonna be good and what's gonna be bad, right? What people are gonna relate to and what they're not.
Yeah.
But just like the mental aspect of that, like, goddamn, like people must have really hated that one. When in reality, it might not have just made the algorithm, so nobody looked for it or nobody saw it pop up, or so on and so forth. So, just kind of the strain of doing that. We've talked about the scrolling and how that's a time suck, but how impactful social media can be for some people, and we've talked about, looking at the warning signs for people and the way they're posting on social media to know like, hey, I got to reach out to this guy, or gal or whatever. And there's some people out there that specifically will, when they're happy, they turn their social media off. And then when they get down in the dumps and they're sad, all of a sudden the social media comes back on. And I know some guys and gals that do that, and they're chasing that rabbit, right? Is what it seems like, and trying to make themselves happy and get those endorphins, I think, kind of any way they can, right? Because things aren't going good, so they want to try and get back out into that social area, right? That playground, that social playground.
Get the pat on the back, get the high five, get the likes, get the
something that's gonna make them feel better
or something. I've seen that too, and I think it's a really good thought pattern to go down as far as I think you have to be, you know, somewhat right in yourself and somewhat right in your own mental health to even be able to handle social media, to be honest with you. Because it can be just kind of a yeah, here, fun, blah 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 blah. But then it can also be this monster that is really, overcoming you and really kind of sucking the life out of you. And I think for it to not become that, you really kind of have to be in a in a at least a decent state, yeah, a decent mental health state,
Like
you
a
know what I
good
mean, to be able,
headspace.
yeah, to be able to handle, what it can take on. Because I've got friends just like that, like they seem like they're in a pretty good headspace, and then all of a sudden, I get a message just like, hey, I'm taking off from social media, this I can't handle it. It's like, really? Uh, okay, well, I didn't notice that in your post. Like, I didn't notice some sad shit going on. But that's time to reach out. Just like, you want to talk? You want to have coffee? You want to? You good? Yeah, yeah. I just gotta lay it down. It's just too much. It's too much.
Yeah, and it's overwhelming.
And
And
I get that.
it kind of takes us into our next topic, which is, the loneliness of social media, right?
Hmm.
How it's making people feel lonely and how it's making them kind of retract into, you know, either off it or jumping on it because they're feeling lonely or something like that. And, you know, uh, I know a lot of veterans and everything like that, or other veterans, and how lonely social media and like the digital age can be,
Hmm.
and how just out of touch everybody really gets. Because when I see something, and it's probably annoying as fuck, I don't know if it is, tell me. I'll keep doing it. Fuck you. But when I see when I see somebody's like posting some cool shit or like something like that, like I'll just DM them. I'm like, and talk shit or like, just say something, just bullshit,
Yeah,
so I can have
yeah.
like some interaction with them. Like, hey, that's really fun. That looks awesome. Like Blanca. We've always had a joke that his dad looks like he should be Blanca's son because his dad looks younger than all of us. Like the man found the fountain of youth. It's fucking hilarious.
No shit.
And like him and his dad went on like a dude's trip or something, and he posted. I was like, holy shit, dude. I was like, I didn't know you had a son that old. Just hit him up in the DMs. He's like, fuck you. Like, he's like, fuck you. I miss you. Just shit like that. But like, I reach out and do dumb shit like that to people and just talk shit and have fun rather than just like give a thumbs up and a like.
I do the same thing, and I really think that's a good thing to do. Because it brings back that interaction, especially from somebody maybe that you haven't talked to in a while, and maybe you haven't seen them come up on your algorithm for a little while, and you see them and it's some fun stuff, and you got some quippy shit to say to them. Like, I say go for it. I say keep doing it, man. I do the same thing. Or like if someone like is kind of, they post a poem that, like a broken heart poem, I'll be I'll DM them and be like, yeah, you need me to come over, bro, with some wine and some
Yeah.
wine and a
You want some
cheese,
chocolates? Like, what the
like
fuck?
what are what's going on here, guy? We need to talk
Yeah.
about it, and crack a little joke, but it's still, you're getting into them, and you're saying, hey, yeah, I see what you're doing, and I'm about it. You know what I mean? And
Right.
let's
Sometimes you
let's
just
let's have a chat. Yeah,
need to have that
let's have
laugh.
a yeah. And then
And
half the time they look back and like, yeah, man, I was crying about my car. You know what
I
I mean?
was
I,
I
I
was
was crying at the
scrolling for a
car.
really long time and it just really got to me. Ugh. But the loneliness of it, right? And I feel like I said, it might be annoying as fuck for my friends, and that I do that shit to them, reach out to them because I try and get around the loneliness of it,
Hmm.
or I'll shoot them a text message, or kind of like we've talked about. Sometimes you just get a feeling you should reach out to somebody and shoot them a
Hmm.
text message, or write a message online or whatever, or call them, or whatever. If I get that feeling, I'll just kind of drop everything because I'm very much let's practice what we preach here,
Yeah.
and just write a message. Hey, how you doing? Like, what's up? You living? LIVIN? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And, you know, just kind of chat with them for a little bit and then, you know, make sure everybody's good and then just move the fuck on. But it's just another way of kind of trying to take care of people and make sure everybody's doing all right, even though, you know, other shit could be going on. You never really know.
Well, yeah, you don't know until you ask, you know. And I think that I don't want to say that we put capes on, but at the same time, doing this cast, it almost feels like a new responsibility, you know, to recognize those things and um to reach out when we see something's a little bit off, you know. I think that I I don't want to sound superhero-ish, but it's kind of our duty. It's something that we talk about, and if we're not doing it when we see it, you know, when we see it needs to be done, then we're not, you know, fulfilling that responsibility of what we've taken on by talking about mental health and practicing what we preach, you know.
Well, and I think it was just something that was never really at the forefront. It was stuff that we kind of really did without talking about it or anything like that.
Yeah.
But now I think kind of now that we're realizing kind of the loneliness of it and that we did that shit before, and then we realized, oh, wait, this might actually have an impact because we've been discussing it on the podcast. I think that really, you know, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. If you want me to stop
Yeah.
texting you, then fucking tell me to stop texting you. You know, whatever.
Yeah.
But I think that it most definitely, I think, has an impact, especially when, you know, somebody you haven't talked to in a while. I know it does for me anyway. Somebody I haven't talked to in a while sends me a text message. I'm like, oh shit, like, what's up, dude? You know, and have a
Yeah.
conversation with them, or you know, try and make a plan to meet up and have a beer or something, or whatever. Just talk some shit and go on about your day. But I know that it has an impact on me. It's like, well, fuck, if they were thinking about me and they like thought about me enough to send me a message, you know, in this day and age, that's like penning a fucking letter, even though if it's just like, what's up, dude? You
It
know?
really is. I mean, it's this it's this generation's version of the, you know, of the drop by, you know. And I
Yeah,
think that
fuck, almost. Yeah.
like you said, it does make an impact, and I think that it makes more of an impact on people than they let on, or that they want to admit, because maybe they were feeling sad or they were feeling lonely, you know what I mean? And it's like, well, you know, I haven't talked to any of my buddies, you know, for a long time, and then bing, you get a message like, oh shit, you know what I mean? And it brightens up your day, you know what I mean? Maybe for an hour, maybe for a day, maybe for a week, and then you get together and you reconnect, and then you know what I mean, it grows again into a new friendship.
Well, and we all have those friends too that, you know, you might not see them for, you know, 3 or 4 years or a year or something like that. And then you get back together and it's like everything's the exact same. Nothing's
Mhm.
changed. You know, we all have those friends and we've had those experiences, or at least most of us have. If not, you need to go find your tribe and find those people. That's on the to do list if you're one of those
Mhm.
people. But, you know, even if I use, you know, Big Nick as an example, you know, we hadn't seen each other. What did we figure? Shit, it was almost to the date, like 12 years, something like. I'll do the math here in a minute.
Yeah.
But it was a long ass time. But it was like nothing ever
Mhm.
changed, right, between us because you know we kept up on social media and just BS back and forth and stuff like that, and just kind of loosely knew what was going on in each other's lives.
Mhm.
You know, and I do that with a bunch of the guys that I was in with, and it's like nothing ever changes. You know, when
Right.
you're back together, you're back together. You're back just trying to have a good time, figuring out that you are extremely older than you were the last time you did that, and trying to recover the next day. You know, it's just. But I think it's important because I think social media has kind of not alienated us, but it has definitely sequestered people to their own corners and, you know, made it so people don't get out of their house. So people don't pick up the phone and call, or people don't
Mhm.
just do the drop by that we've talked about, you know, so lovingly. But it can definitely be a lonely place out there. And I feel like if that's kind of the way you're living is through social media and you're not really reaching out to people, you need to get out and like hang out with some dudes or hang out with some chicks. Uh,
Yeah.
and kind of get that energy back. Get that social meter, fill that bad boy back up. And I know sometimes, you go out for a night and be like, I am all socialed out. There's a lot of
Yeah.
us that are
Yeah.
like that. But I think it's important to get out and get away from the damn computer and the phone and everything like that because it's a vicious cycle, dude. Sometimes
It
people
really
think they
is.
have it way worse than they really do.
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah. They let it get to them way more. And I gotta say, like, hats off. And I really respect and applaud and envy those who have no social media presence. There's a few people that like, I was talking with my buddy over the weekend, like, whatever happened to this dude? Whatever happened to that chick? Whatever happened to this person? And I was like, man, I look for him on social media and I can't find him, can't find him. And I was like, well, I talk to this dude's parents, every now and again, and ask how he's doing, and he's doing pretty good. He's doing pretty great, but he's not one of those guys that like, I really have kept in touch with, and it kind of makes me feel bad. But he's living a fucking great life. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? He's off social media. He doesn't give a shit. Maybe I don't know if he's thought about me in the last 20 years, but you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like if he has, then I hope he said, well, hey, I hope he's living a great life. Um, but I gotta take my hat off. Like, your wife's one of them. Like, I don't know how she does it, but
Doesn't
she
give
just does
a
not
fuck.
give two shits about it. And and I know, a dozen or more people like that. And
I don't
I
actually know why she has a phone. Because I know when I text her, call her, she doesn't pick up.
she doesn't answer.
Yeah, I do diary entries to her. I don't know if I've ever said this or not, but
Dear diary.
no, dude, I
I
do.
love
I do
those.
100%. It's like she'll like not text me. I'll be like, hey, text her about something serious, and it'll be like 2 hours, and she won't text me back, and I'll hit her with like, dear diary. Today, I text my loving wife and asked her a very important question, and you know that like she's reading it in my voice, and she's just like she'll text me back. She's like, "Stop using my phone as your diary," you know. And, like it's funny because then she finally texts me back, right?
You're like, what do you want?
Oh, there was like a month straight where it was just nothing but diary
Oh,
entries on her phone. I thought it was great. I was
you
bored.
should start recording them, dude.
Like,
Dear
dude, like
diary.
voice memos.
Yeah, voicemail. Dear diary.
Oh, that'd be
I
funny.
texted my wife today to ask her if she wanted me to take chicken out, and she didn't text me back.
So I took
Now
the
I don't
chicken
know
out
what we're gonna
anyway.
have for dinner. Are we ever gonna eat again?
I'm on my way to get a bag of tacos.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't.
I it's really a double-edged sword, and the more you dive into it, and I've been there, dude, like within like breakups, you know what I mean? You're in there trying to find your ex, you know what I mean? See what they're doing, and then when you see they're out having fun, it's just a knife to the chest, and you're more lonely, and nobody loves me, and you're doing that thing, and then like during my last stint of sickness, like I was just going through and going through and going through because I had talked to everybody and that was concerned or whatever, so they were all updated and all that. So, but I didn't have shit to do, and so I'm just spending hours just scrolling and it was so disconnecting. Um, and I don't know if that makes sense because it was just mindless drawl and just so much of the same shit over and over and over, and I could see the patterns and it just was mind numbing, to be honest,
Oh,
and
I'll bet. Yeah.
I didn't like it at all. It just kind of made me feel um like I was part of the worthless bunch, and
You
was
were in the
just
sick
sad.
ward with the TB right next to Doc Holliday, but
Seriously,
nobody
dude.
was visiting you.
No one's visiting me. I'm coughing up blood.
Just trying to play
I watched
poker.
that the other one day. It
Dude, I
was
love
on the
that.
TV. I loved it.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. I saw it firsthand for sure. I felt bad because we had a lot of we had a lot of shit going on, and just trying to get broken away enough to go like visit or anything like that. It was just not happening.
Right.
And I felt bad. And Dad's like, "You really got to go visit your brother." I was like, "Is he dead? Like, what's going on?" Like,
It's like he'll call
he's
me.
texting me just fine. Like, we just chatted. Um,
Right.
but yeah, it's the actual in-person social interaction and just kind of the energy around people. And yeah, that you can see that impact immediately, especially the situation that you're in where you're sick and couldn't really go anywhere.
Right.
And I'm sure that there's a shit ton of people out there that are like that, because I feel like people are just more sick than they've ever been, right? Especially in this day and age, it's like, well,
Yeah.
we're living pretty long, but being really sick the whole time.
Well, and part of that too, I hate to say it, but I think this is true. I think a lot of that comes from, the brain. You talk yourself into being lonely, then you talk yourself into being sick, then you talk yourself into no one loves me, and then it's just a compound effect, and it just gets worse and worse and worse, and that can get really ugly really fast.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree, and I think that that's one huge part of why we're doing what we're doing at the actual meadery, where it's like, no, put your phones down, hang out by a campfire,
Hmm.
sweat your ass off or freeze your ass off with other people, with strangers, complain about it
Yeah,
to strangers, have a good time. You know, it's hot,
meet a
it
stranger.
sucks. Yeah, go meet strangers. Strangers are cool. Don't get in their car unless it says like Lyft or Uber, and then still kind of make sure it's your car.
Yeah.
Yeah, have a battle buddy. But yeah, it definitely is a slippery slope. I think you described it perfectly with, mindless scrolling and getting into that routine because you can't go anywhere or do anything,
Mhm.
and just how much it just compounds on top of each other.
Yeah. And you're looking for it for happiness, and it's just creating exactly what we're talking about. It's creating loneliness, it's creating sadness. It's you're actually, you can look and see how 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 lonely you are because you're looking around, nobody's there except this phone and this scrolling, and that's it's fucking ugly.
Yeah, well, and the thing,
The screen keeps coming on, so it's the only thing that loves me.
yeah, my phone keeps lighting up with other people's stories, and then and
Yeah.
then like the videos that you're watching, you're like, man, I wish I could get out of the house and go do that, but I can't because I'm sick.
Yeah.
So that's got to be like, well, fuck, is anything ever going to be normal again? Yeah, you know?
Well, it was bad too. I fell into that trap too where um I was watching you know I not gonna lie, I got my eye on a couple gals. Um
Oh,
and yeah.
watch out,
And
ladies.
you better snatch me up before I get snatched up. Um
Watch
but
out if you're a size 12 and above.
I'll cover for you, dear. Uh and
It's because he knows you
I'm
know how to cook.
I'm here just Nosferatu out, right? And I'm just watching him do the funnest shit ever. And some of the stuff, like, I would normally be there, or I'd be at like the same function or something like that, and I would have seen them and been able to interact. But since I couldn't leave the house, I couldn't really do that. And so I'm seeing these things, and I'm like, oh man, it just started to hurt more and more and more. You know what I mean? And
I'm
not even
all out of
having like
love. So lost without
That's
you.
the funny thing too. Was like it just like there was no real even romantic connection there or anything like that. They're friends of mine, you know what I mean, and they're friends I wouldn't mind having dinner with and and drinks with and whatever. But at the same time, like it wasn't like a thing. And but I'm looking at them like somebody else is gonna get that chance and take him out to dinner, and
Somebody else is
someone's
gonna
gonna
slay
take
that
him to
buffalo.
right. Someone's gonna take him to the bar after the concert.
I could have been at the
You
bar
know.
waiting.
Right? My car's so much better than his. Yeah, I just it's just those things, and you start talking yourself into, and you start talking yourself into worthlessness, and that's where the loneliness comes in, and it's like it's not true. You know what I mean? It's not true, and it's what these things that you see and you talk yourself into really the monsters that creates.
Well, and one thing I'm curious about, right? Because I'm not a hot girl in my 20s, but I am a hot older lady in my
I mean,
30s. But
in your mind you are.
yeah, my hot girl summer's over. You know what I mean? But all these ladies that are out there just pining for social media, like thumbs up and likes and stuff like that. I can't even imagine the impact that it has on self-esteem. And you have your fucking thoughts going crazy because you're sick and you can't go out. They're posting pictures like left and right every day, every second, and hoping for some kind of validation, whether it be because daddy didn't love them or because they're just in an unhappy place. I can't
Yeah.
even imagine
Oh, dude.
the pain and anguish that social media is probably causing some of these women. And I'm a dude, so obviously that somebody else is gonna have to tell me how the fuck that rolls out. But
Yeah.
I can imagine how painful that could be, especially if you're looking for the attention, you're not getting the attention or the validation.
And a lot of these gals do, they do social medias to point you to their OF or their Fansly or whatever and all this kind of stuff, and that's kind of how they're making their living. And they have to do it. And if they're not getting that constant validation and that constant, um, they're not getting constantly chased. Man, I can't, that's beyond me, man. Um, I feel bad for a lot of them too because you see their ups and downs, and you see, how often they post because it's almost like, you know, if they post once a day or twice a day, they're getting what they need, you know what I mean? And they're pushing people toward, their end goal. But if they're posting like 6, 7 times a day, and it's just you can see the desperation. I Man, that's got to be tough, and that's got to be a tough consult because a lot of those gals too, they have significant others. They either have boyfriends, serious boyfriends or husbands and stuff like this, you know, um, and I think that they crave that as their, that's their fallback, and that's what they, that's who those are the shoulders they go to cry on, But could you imagine, like, trying to wrangle the the mental health of somebody who is pining for clicks and likes and thumbs ups and I don't know, man. Every single day that would be so rough and be so rough on their psyche. I couldn't even imagine doing it.
Well, and the impact that it has as far as relationships go,
Mm.
I can't even imagine, right? Um, for those people and those our listeners and stuff that are in relation. I think I got a light bulb going out. Something's happening in here.
Should,
I'm gonna need an electrician. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I think I can change the light bulb. I don't know.
and an exorcist.
Only time will tell. I actually had a light bulb the other day explode in my hand while I was
Ooh.
like screwing it in. It was
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. Uh, Screwed a little too hard, I guess, and it exploded. It had a really cool blue flame too. All right.
course.
So yeah, anyway, um, those people that are in relationships, our listeners that are in relationships, I'm sure that we have some that are, in those types of relationships where there's a whole lot of social media going on, and I'd really like to hear from them. Whether it be via Instagram or comments or whatever, reach out to us and let us know how it's going, because I am curious. Because it's something that I really can't identify with, but I can imagine how hard it is, especially if I think the social media is ruining lots of relationships, lots
Yeah.
of marriages, and boyfriend, girlfriend, stuff like that, stuff that probably could have worked. But like
Hmm.
you said a minute ago, their fallback is, oh well, all these other dudes love me,
Hmm.
because they're clicking thumbs up or heart or like or whatever the fuck it might be on the social media or whatever, or they're going to their private pages and things like that, and they have all these people that are kind of pining for them. So I
Hmm.
can't even imagine what it'd be like to be one of those dudes in the relationships. I mean, you really have to be pretty damn comfortable with yourself and your situation
Oh
to
yeah.
be with somebody that's doing that, guy or girl or whatever. And I just think that would be a constant just weight all the time. It's like, well, you know,
Oh yeah. Without
just
a doubt.
yeah. Is there going to be another Sancho? Am I that Sancho? Am I good? Am I not
Well, dude,
good?
that's
Like, you know what I
that's
mean?
taken that's taken the loneliness aspect that we're talking about to another level, because now your your activity on social media now is making somebody else feel lonely, because you have to spend all this time, and this is for, yeah, say they're the OF girls or whatever, but you have to, it's your job to spend what, 12, 13 hours online, or else checking messages or glued to your phone in one way or another, or doing shows or doing something, you know, I would say that's a 12, 16-hour job or whatever, obviously you're not digging ditches, but at the same time, you're monitoring it. You have to do your shows and you have to do your whatevers. But imagine what that your partner feels like.
Yeah, I don't
Imagine.
know. Yeah, I'd be like,
You know what I mean?
this shit ain't gonna work out. Yeah,
Yeah.
like if I'm out chopping wood or something, and my girlfriend's in there showing her butthole, like, yeah, I'd probably be like, I don't know about this. I don't think this is gonna work out for me. You know what I mean?
It'd be a rough life.
That's just
It'd be a
me.
rough life. Yeah,
That's just
that's
me.
just me.
If you're a dude out there that's
Yeah.
that's digging it or whatever, that's cool. You guys are gonna make way more money than me. These
Well, and
guys
there's
have
some
like
dudes that
Ferraris and mansions and stuff because their girlfriend or wife is like out there on those websites, and I'm like, oh, cheers to
And
you,
there's
guy.
some dudes that embrace it and they get involved and they help with production or whatever, and they provide the extra features in the films or whatever that they're creating, and that's great, you know what I mean? If you guys can work that out, but that's a long, hard road to even get to
Just
there.
don't see that
Um,
ending well.
yeah, and in the end, I don't either.
Like there
That's
needs
few
to
and far
be
between.
a VH1 Where Are They Now on OF people
OF
and
couples.
yeah, OF couples. Where are they now?
Uh-huh.
No, it's a really weird culture, and we've talked about like how the fuck do they do that? First of all,
Well, it was
you
like
you
back
you
in the
know
day. Go ahead. Sorry.
like beauty fades, right?
Mhm.
So I mean, Leo knows it. DiCaprio's like, get the fuck out once you're 30 or whatever the fuck it is. But that beauty fades and that type of stuff fades, and it's like, how are you gonna find something meaningful if you're constantly chasing that dragon and
Mhm.
trying to stay relevant and trying to stay, pretty or on par or whatever the fuck? If you're one of those people, and I'm not knocking these people, I'm sure that I've never met any of them, but I'm sure they're fucking great people. I'm sure they're nice. Uh,
Mhm.
but I'm fucking curious, very curious
Yeah.
on how
Well,
all
and
that shit works out.
you can tell, like, uh I've seen it here and there, and and there's a few people that I've known throughout the grapevine and all this kind of stuff that I know are there, and some of them are great, and some of them have issues, and you can tell, and that's a weird world to get into, and it's not one that I would suggest. I've dipped my toe in it a time or two, um, with a couple
You
ladies.
spread your butt cheeks on camera as my concho.
It's longballs.com, bro.
Longball Freddy. Freddy Longball.
Exactly. .org. um com wouldn't take me. Yeah,
Checks
but
out.
it's a weird thing, and it is a weird world, and if you're not really prepared to go in it with your eyes open, then it's really gonna hit you hard, and it's not gonna be fun. um and those are kind of things that are a little bit off topic, but at the same time they're real things, and they're out there, and people are doing them, and like you said, looks fade. And you see these people like with these OF girls with $1 million mansions and Ferraris and kind of shit like that. Well, money gets spent too. Looks fade
Oh
and
yeah.
money gets spent.
I'm a prime
So
example
none of
of looks fading and spending too much money.
money gets spent. I think the more money you spend, bro, the better looking you get. So
Thanks, guy.
I think you ought to keep going with it.
Thanks, man. What an asshole.
Sound off in the comments. Give him a thumbs up for that one. But if you're not doing it smart, and spending the money the right ways, and living under your means, if you're doing that kind of thing, because the money just keeps flooding in and flooding in and
When
flooding
you see
in.
these fucking articles about people that have made like $30 million in a year or after
Yeah.
one video or something like that, and it's like, and they're like 20 years old. It's like, well, I know you didn't hire a hedge fund manager. Like,
Exactly right.
fuck.
When my long balls website goes crazy, dude, I got a gal that works at Fidelity, and I'm just send her all the stuff and be like, just figure this out for me, and we'll be good.
And you'll get paid. Yeah.
Exactly. We'll all one win, we all win.
Yeah. Well, I'm taking you guys with me, hedge fund manager and everything. Yeah, no, it's a really weird thing, and and I don't know how deep some of our listeners go into it, but I know we definitely have some out there that see the same stuff that we're seeing, and it really brings up a big curiosity in me about there. I digress. I've seen a show on YouTube talking to them about like these OF girls and stuff like that, about how it's impacted their lives, and how friends and family have stopped talking to them, and just the whole like Playboy hustler thing. It's no different than back in the day when you had to like flip through the magazines and hope nobody got to the magazine before you. But it's on a larger scale and more easily accessible now. And once it's out there, it's out there.
Oh yeah. There's no getting it back.
Yeah, the monkey's out of the box. Monkey doesn't go back in the box.
Yeah. And those Playboy and hustler guys, they had it right. And I mean, I guess it was a little bit harder for them to get it done, but they got it done in a different way. And I was going to bring up the like the stripper boyfriend. That was the early days. We'd go to the strip club and you'd see a dude, and yeah, just lurking, like, because they have the bouncer guy, who takes them on stage and then takes them off stage and whatever. But then there was a bunch of times where she'd come back out from a dance and then go sit at the table like with her boyfriend, and they're like talking about just banal minutia, and and that was weird, man. But that guy, he always just like had his eye on you, and it was weird, and that's like a weird place to be, and that was kind of the beginnings of this whole thing. And it's a rough road altogether.
Yeah, I mean we've digressed into porn, but I mean, it's something that we got to talk about.
But
it's a men's mental health topic.
Yeah, and that was back in the days. Social media, was going to the strip joint, and
that was social media back then. I don't
well,
know.
for
That was social media.
the OF girls, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. You couldn't just jump on.
We
the
were talking
internet
about, we were talking about how they make their partners lonely.
So would you say
that's the
that,
other side of the coin?
Yeah, would you would you say that it was a different time with a little bit more Kyle, I don't even, the word is escaping me. It is escaped. Just, it was a more private time, I guess. Even if,
most definitely.
because I mean, if you didn't go to the strip club, you would never know that your, best friend's wife was a stripper or anything like that.
Yeah, right.
It wasn't.
You didn't get out of the house.
Yeah, it wasn't all over social media saying click my link, or
yeah.
whatever. And that whole thing is just absolutely terrifying, right? Because anybody could click your link. Like,
yeah,
it's, I don't know, not for me, guy.
I think from the beginning, with the AOLs and the what was it, the MySpace. I don't think I ever did the MySpace. I might have did it for a minute.
You didn't have your top. You didn't have your top 8 friends.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I didn't really get into it back then. But from the beginning, I just picture, this kid, sitting in front of his computer, with the lights off and the blue screen just blaring him in the face, and just right there, just clicking away and clicking away and clicking away, and finding this, social media, and finding that to be like their only friend, which, again, you look around and it's a dark room, and that's loneliness 101. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think it's gotten nothing but more lonely, right? I feel like there's more people out there that are lonely because they're kind of recoiled, paying for and watching this shit. And there's all kinds of studies all over saying that it fucking ruins your gray matter, right? That porn ruins your brain, and things like that, and it ruins expectations in relationships too.
Yeah.
Because they expect that when it's time to get down and dirty, that hey, why isn't my wife or girlfriend being like that porn star that I saw, or
right,
like the chick from the strip club or whatever? That's how used to be, and now it's just like so easily accessible and just so bad for really like guys and girls, right?
well,
Because the expectations are just totally just ruined, and then you get into a relationship and just the amount of stress, even if it's not one of those relationships where somebody's on camera all the time or something like that, I can just see that shit ruining relationships left and right because of expectations.
Well, you apply that to that bigger picture of just social media in general. It's the same thing. You know what I mean? If you're you're clicking around, your favorite SM, website, and you see this gal, she catches her eye, you see on her profile that she's single, and you're like, wow, I'm gonna throw in a little DM and say, hey, cool Jeep, you know what I mean? Because she's Jeeping, and she's you know what I mean?
Always Jeeping.
Oh, they're always Jeeping. And they're in the sand, and they're doing these fun things, and they're hiking, and they're parasailing, and doing all this bullshit. And then, you go in with the expectation like, hey, this gal's really adventurous and fun, and that's how I am, and I'd really like to get to know her and and maybe meet in person. So you do, and then you find out that that was like 2 years ago. You know what I mean? And then but now she's
It was
damaged from a
it was on a release schedule. She only went on 3
yeah.
hikes, but she's just reposting old
Exactly.
shit. You fucking
Exactly.
gotcha, hook, line, and sinker.
But yeah, and then she went through just a shit relationship, and she had never healed from it, and now you're taking the brunt of that shit, and you guys never go hiking, and she sold her Jeep, you know what I mean, and now she's got like
Yeah,
a fucking Prius, you know what I
yeah,
mean? It's like
it's rough. She takes the bus.
yeah, it's like it's a setup to fail, and that's the wicked thing and the wicked ways that these can turn if you're not monitoring yourself and monitoring kind of your usage and your overall, I guess, want and need to fulfill something by with SM.
Well, and these are like the negative aspects of social media, that what we're talking about. But there's also a lot of positives that come out of it too, right? Which we
Oh
have
yeah,
to we have to talk about.
we have to address,
And
sure.
if it wasn't for social media, we wouldn't be here doing the things that we're
Hmm.
doing and
Yeah.
having the impact on people that we're having, and having that spark, that little spark that we had with Bearded Viking really catch fire. I mean, we're
Hmm.
so close to being on the NASA fire report because we're on fire. You know what I mean?
We are smoldering, baby.
See how I brought that full circle? It's a lightning strike. So there's that.
Oh man. Yeah, yeah, I like it.
But I mean, really, there's the slippery slope and the dangers of it that we've talked about tonight, and we've talked about it before a little bit. And like you said, it's important to monitor yourself and to kind of make your go through that self check, buddy check every once in a while, especially with the social media, because you know not everything is always all great and everything. People are out there, I think, especially now, are probably hurting more than ever
Hmm.
with kind of the world that we live in, the America that we live in right now. It's still the greatest country in the world, but there's a lot of people that are hurting. But if we can give just that glimmer of hope with the social media presence that we have, and the podcast, and the guest spots and stuff that we do, I think that's important. I think that's it's an uplifting part of social media, and one of those enduring things of social media. And I know I quote Mike all the time from Two Mikes, is this is his video diary, right?
Hmm.
And they're about to be on the fire report in New Jersey because those guys just hit a freaking million views in a month. You know what I'm saying?
Dude,
Like,
they
they're
are
going to be on next week's fire report for sure.
definitely
But
blowing the embers.
if it wasn't for social media and outlets like YouTube and Spotify and Rumble and all that, there wouldn't be shows like this or shows like
Yeah.
theirs or anything else. And if we end up, we've like we always said, if we end up helping one person, that's enough. And if this ends up
Yeah.
just being our video diary one day, then so be it.
Right.
At least our
Right.
kids will have got to see us young and remember us young, and hopefully we're not too far off base.
Yeah, I think that just mental health in general, both men and women, is at an all-time low, and I don't I don't see how it could not be with the current climate of, the economy and, everything going on in the world, here and abroad. Um, and I think that the more that you are conscious of it, the more that you can keep a handle on it, um, in your daily, and even if you need to be in your hourly, depending on your state of mind. And I think that's important, and I think that that's something that people need to keep in mind, especially if you're a listener to a show like this, because it's something that we think about, it's something that we preach, it's something that I think is important, and I think it's important because you have to be there mentally for yourself before you can be there mentally for your family and your friends and your job and everything else. And if you're not doing that, you need to do what it takes to get there, you know.
Yeah, it's kind of like we've talked about when we say, make sure that your glass is full. Make
Hmm.
sure that you're filling up your glass. That way you can be there for the people that are depending on you.
Hmm.
And, navigating the social medias and making those choices that are going to actually be beneficial for you and your family and stuff. And don't get me wrong, I mean, with social media, most of us, well, I would like to think most of us go on social media for a laugh and to look at some cool cars or something like that, or look at
Hmm.
somebody shooting guns or whatever, like something cool, right?
Hmm.
And I think that's what most people do as far as social media goes. A cute girl pops up and you're like, oh, cool. Back to
Fun.
guns. Back to
Yeah.
cars.
Yeah.
Like, oh look,
Yeah.
girls and cars. Sweet.
Hey,
Keep
it's a
scrolling.
great combo.
Golf
Yeah.
videos. Sweet. Girls playing golf. Okay, back to the video.
I gotta send
It's
this to the golf crew. Yeah.
they're always peppering that shit in there. Uh, and it's really funny too, the different algorithms that people have, right? Even people with the
Hmm.
same type of, thumbs up and thumbs down type shit,
Hmm.
how different it can be. And just your suggestions with the videos and stuff that you watch on YouTube or on Instagram or Reels or whatever. I think you have to pay extra for Reels. I I don't pay
No,
for that.
no, you can watch reels and you can do reels. It's just it's a weird thing. Like
Is it like a
you can
different app
boost
or
them.
something?
No, no, it's just
I thought
it's
there was
just
like a new
there.
thing. There's like a weird icon that I haven't clicked, I'm afraid.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah,
Is
I
it is
pay
it
a,
is it
go
like
ahead.
bad
I
that
was
I'm
gonna
in my
say
30s and like scared of social media?
no,
Like I grew
I
up
don't
with
think
it,
so.
but I'm just like, I don't know. That's
Yeah,
scary.
it's your
That's a new
generation.
icon. If I click on that, I don't know. Like,
Yeah, there is a thing. I think yeah, I think you're right. There's a new thing where it's just reels. But normally like for IG, that's kind of where they came to life, I believe, at least what I saw. And it was just a difference between a static post or you could do a reel, you could do videos, and then they really up their game on it because you can do a lot of editing in there. And I do most of my editing right in IG, which is pretty cool. They have some pretty cool features. I mean, they're pretty basic, but at the same time, like you can have fun with it, and still make them kind of look cool and original and stuff. Um, or else you have your stories, or you have your just regular picture posts or something, and you can do videos with just regular posts, but they're not as fun, and you don't have the editing capability. It's just kind of like blah. But I think there is like a new reels thing that you can do, and I know that you can like subscribe. People have the pages, and you can subscribe to them, and then you get exclusive stuff that they post or whatever right to their subscription people. Like how we were thinking about doing like the Patreon thing. You can subscribe, and they'll charge you like $3 a year or $3 a month or something like that or whatever. Um, but I've never done that. Like I've subscribed to a couple of my friends' who were free, just because I want to support them and stuff, in their businesses and what they're doing. But there's a bunch where you could subscribe to, and you pay a monthly fee or whatever. But like you got to be really fucking cool for me to do that. You
right.
know what I mean?
Well, and I think
On like on an SM thing, because I'd rather just like subscribe to your newsletter, you know. or subscribe to something like that rather than like your, I don't know,
Yeah,
your
well, and
social
I think
media.
I think so. We were really kind of going strong. We were getting ready to do the Patreon thing, and then we did the Two Mics live show, and they kind of showed us a different avenue of approach, which was actually cool, really cool, because you can still chat and interact with the people that are there with you
Mm-hmm.
and that are watching the show. We just and nobody has to pay, which
Yeah.
is really cool. And we really didn't know that was an avenue of approach at that time. So now we have a different, we kind of abandoned that idea. And
Yeah.
we're pumping everybody up, so I apologize for pumping everybody up on that, but the Rumble thing and doing a live show I think is going to be more impactful, and
I think so too.
you're
Yeah.
going to get to see, for those that watch us, we'll obviously still do this show. That's kind of more of a long form format, but then, the hour and a half show that's live, and people will get to interact with us all the same and
Mhm.
see how dumb we are without the edits.
Yeah, but we're so much fun. And
I'm a good
the
time gal. Okay.
Oh yeah, you are.
I taught
Yeah.
like 3 people how to dance this weekend.
And you did.
Mm,
Wow.
yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Just
That's
showing them how to
fantastic.
do it.
I'm excited for that because I want to see, who who are listeners now and who, the friends of the Bearded Viking who come over to that format and chat with us. And it's been fun because, listen to the mics and the Kelly. Um I'm super homies with like 4 people in the chat that like I've never seen in person. You know what I mean? But we chat in the chat and we have a great time. And then we chat with the hosts and stuff and they chat, they talk back and stuff like that, and which is really
Well, it's
cool. And
it's like
you meet so many new people that way,
yeah.
and so many like-minded people, which I think is such a cool thing. And I like the thought of, us taking that, like a Patreon subscription for our exclusive content, because that's basically going to be our exclusive content. And we're putting it on them to monetize us rather than our listeners, and we're
Yeah.
we're taking that off of your shoulders and putting it on the actual provider's shoulders to monetize us if that even ever happens.
Yeah. And if it doesn't, who cares? It's still
Yeah.
gonna be fun. And I still love reading the comments, Like even on our last show, Uncle Nick, he reached out and he said the same thing. VA docs had him on several meds for a whole lot of years, and basically going and doing microdosing and stuff got him off of all of everything, and
Yeah,
much
that's
happier,
huge.
healthier individual now.
Hmm.
And that's a big thing, man. People don't understand the impact that you know the comments and those types of ideas have on people, and I think that's really cool because I think
Yeah.
people get a chance to talk live. They get to talk with us live instead of after the fact,
Hmm.
and I think it's a really cool concept of social media. One of those shining spots versus the dark lonely areas that you and I talk about,
Hmm.
and it could potentially have the potential to bring a lot more people together in a large space, and have that outreach to people that maybe we wouldn't have had
Hmm.
on just the regular old YouTubes and Spotify's and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, and we'll get the chance to, we've said this before, and it's the truth, and this is something that actually we're really excited about, um, that we can have you pop in. Like we watch the mics and they do an open mic Friday, and basically anybody in the chat or anybody who comes in and can see their show can pop in, and they can bring them in live right there and have a live chat back and forth, and not just in the chat, but you can come on video and talk with them live, and throw your 2 cents in on whatever you want and whatever subject you're talking about.
Oh yeah.
And
Well, and it's sorry, go ahead, finish.
oh no, it's just like you said, it's a good chance to actually really connect with our audience, where like we, in a live way, where we wouldn't get the chance to do here. I mean, we can do live on YouTube, but it's a little bit different, and we can, it's a little bit harder to get in their algorithms when you're doing that. But this is going to be a fun venture for us, and hopefully a fun venture for everybody else, because you get to chat with our dumbasses.
Yeah, well, it's
Live and
like,
in person.
yeah, it's a better chance to meet your host and realize that, we're not just full of shit. I mean, we're full of shit, but you get to really see how full of shit we are, right? And see how we're really living. And I think that's really cool. You mentioned, the open mic on Friday. I've committed already to Mike. I'll be on Friday's show for Two Mics Live. So, um,
Hell yeah.
catch me outside. How about that?
Catch me outside.
So
well, that's a fun thing too, just like that. And you can see that, we've seen, and we've talked to those guys, and we know that they're real people. They're not just characters playing roles and reading scripts.
and that's what's so endearing about it.
Exactly.
That's what's so endearing is it's a breath of fresh air to actually see people doing it, being successful, because I couldn't be more happy for those guys, in doing what they're doing, and then meet them, talk to them, and have them be exactly how they are, raw, real, and uncut.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Some of my like favorite conversations are with Calstradamus, and we'll have like 2-hour conversations, and about going back and forth. I was getting some tips and tricks from him the other day, just about their production, and he was really laying it down, and giving me some good information. And what I thought was going to be like maybe a 15-20 minute conversation turned into like 2 hours, and absolutely loved it. You know what I mean? And we went down a few different roads, but at the same time, he's exactly how he is on the phone as he is in the show, and he's hilarious. You know what I mean? We have a great time chatting.
Well, I think it's super important for people to see that. Well, it's super important for people to see that that we're real people, that we practice what we preach, and with him and Mike and Kelly, they're all exactly how they really are. Or they're really how they are, from the show to talking to them, on the phone or over text or whatever. And then I think it's really cool that, and it's very uplifting. And for people that don't do this, it's probably something that they're curious about, or something that they've thought about before, is, do they, our group and the people that we talk to, and the other podcasts that we go back and forth with, that they want to help you succeed, and they want you to succeed just as much as they want it for themselves.
Oh yeah, 1000%.
They're actually uplifting and wanting to lift each other up, and I think that's a really, really cool quality in these people that we've started to surround ourselves with, that we've met through doing this. And a big shout out to Boondock, because I mean, he's the one who made the love connection between Vikings, Outlaws, and Cowboys, and
Boondock's fucking
the
awesome,
mics.
dude.
That dude is just out of control, dude. I love that guy. He's cool as shit. Always down for a chat, and I can't wait to get them all in a room. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. And we can't be more thankful, from for the kind of the road that we're going down, and the people that we met on the way, and like you said, they're very uplifting, and want us to succeed just as much as them, and we'll all be better for it. and that's the exciting part. And that's that's what I'm looking forward to the most is just getting that support.
Yeah. And to, to quote Doc, there is a greater good. And I think we've started to, we don't quote Doc very much, because usually it's in the
No.
rant form, but he definitely believes in the greater good. So we'll have to @Doc on this show, and he'll have to
Yeah.
listen to it at least an hour and a half in before he hears what we're talking about. And
Yeah,
that's
we won't tell him
he's
where.
gonna absolutely love that.
We won't tell him where we shouted it.
And then he'll get sidetracked and then
It's
totally
in there,
miss
bro.
it. Son of a bitch.
Right.
Now I have to give him like the
Bullshit,
minute
you
mark.
didn't shout me.
You didn't even say shit. No, but to really experience that and see that legitimately there's some good people out there, and there's people that want to help take care of other people and make sure they're successful and they're doing good and moving things along. I think that's really freaking cool, man.
Yeah. It just goes to show that there's still good people in the world, and that in itself warms my heart, because with all the doom and gloom and shots fired and all this kind of stuff going on, to kind of keep plugging and keep doing our thing with all of the obstacles that we've had to overcome as people, as a business, as fathers, as veterans,
Sons as brothers.
you guys, sons as brothers, to really kind of find those good people that are good people in the world is a good thing, and it shows, you know what I mean, that there's still good people in the world.
Yeah, it's definitely a bright spot of social media, finding the good people and people that you want to help and people that are willing to help you. I think that's pretty cool. I think that's kind of what it's all about, especially with what we're trying to do and the message that we're trying to put out. So that's super kick-ass. I'm digging that. I'm digging that aspect of it. For those of you who don't know, I never wanted to do this. Never wanted to do it. I was happy being the angry guy in the corner all the fucking time, and or the angry looking guy, I guess, in the corner all the time, not having anything to do with this. But Vico, he definitely has a way of, getting you out of your comfort zone. And, he set me up to do this, and then he just left me. But now we have a different co-host,
Yeah, he patted you on the ass and said, "Go get him, Tiger."
Yeah, hey, have fun. I'm busy.
Well, the awesome thing is this just popped into my head is the passing the torch concept. We've passed on the torch of a lot of things. We've passed on the torch of baseball. We've passed on the torch of I've passed on the torch of design. I'm sure you've passed on the torch of of your knowledge with fucking history and fires. And
Fires are important to me, dude.
Fires, hey man, you gotta keep your eye
I
on
didn't know
them.
how important
Make sure
they
they're
were
not getting
until
close.
last episode when Vico wanted to do the fire report. I had no idea, but I'm really glad he got me into fire.
They're a thing, buddy. They're a thing. You gotta watch out. And the thing is it's so Vico started this thing, and it was a really cool thing, and I think we were all kind of on the fence, and but then we all kind of grew to understand it and really embrace it, and and then he passed off the torch to you, and and people that we've met and people that we've done, they're passing on their knowledge torch to us, and hopefully we can get to the point to where we can pass it on again, and I think that's kind of a really important thing in society that maybe gets lost, in just kind of being a good person overall, and and really wanting to impact people in different ways, and
Well,
go about doing your thing.
it's really caught fire, pun intended. And I may get some shit for prematurely saying this, but in a couple of weeks, it sounds like we're gonna have the governor of Montana on the podcast for a stint. So Vico and I have been working on that, and that's a big deal, especially for us.
It's a huge deal. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm imagining that I can't say fuck as much, and we have to have a solid agenda. I think we're gonna have to send bullet points to the governor's office, like that, so you can prepare
Get them
for
approved.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then me and Vico are gonna have to try not to fuck that up. So I don't know. We'll see how that pans out, but it's a definite possibility.
In general, we try to steer clear of state troopers and state figures. But this is a different situation. I think it'll be a really, really awesome thing. It'll be an awesome thing for the state. It'll be an awesome thing for the meadery, obviously. And I think it'll be a fun chat.
Well, and the cool thing is too he has a focus on men's mental health, and listening to our funny, spooky stuff he's not in avoidance of that either. So cool. Looking forward to that. So hopefully if things pan out in the next couple of weeks, maybe that'll happen. So I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. Vico might be really mad at me for saying that early, but if it happens, it happens. If not, cool.
I'm sure there's a lot of red tape that we're gonna have to try to break through to get there. But that'd be super cool. Is he a vet?
No, he's not a vet. Been reading. He's a tech guy actually.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Very nice.
So, but yeah, the people in the great state of Montana seem to like him. So, I'm excited. I think we're gonna get to meet him next week, and that'll be pretty neat. He wanted to come down and visit the meadery.
Hands down, he has fostered some of the absolutely nicest people that I've ever met in my whole life in Montana. You know what I mean? Like yeah. Those people are crazy nice, like almost creepy nice. Because you don't want to think it doesn't seem real. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem real. It doesn't seem like it should be this way, but they are genuine as shit. And they don't say bless your heart in a hey fuck you way.
in like a southern way.
Yeah, they actually pray for you after. It's fucking awesome, man. They are great people up there. And if you get the chance, you gotta go. And just for the people alone, they're great people. Like I've never been so welcome in a new state or a new place ever in my life as I have been in Montana.
Yeah, well, and the cool thing about Montana too is it is the 4th largest state in the United States. It's the 4th largest state in the United States, and I think it's
let's
I'm looking up the population of it now.
I was gonna say that, but it's a lot of trees, hills,
they're
animals.
They're number 43 on population.
Yeah, it's not a ton of population up there.
No, and that's the thing is like the 4th largest state, and they have the 43rd largest population, and it was probably like 45, 46 until California started moving in. Like the show Yellowstone came out, they were probably doing real good, just hanging out like 47, 46 spot.
Like right in a happy place.
Just really riding high, But yeah,
they don't have an immigration problem.
Yeah. Now like they got to shut off their fucking western border so the Californians can't get in. It's really fucked up, I had a conversation with some Texans while I was in Nashville. I was like, man, you guys are really fucking up. You got to shut your southern border and your western border because you guys are California and Texas. What's going on? But no, it's really cool. It caught fire, right? We're excited about it. And for somebody that important to grace little old us with his presence is pretty neat. I appreciate the shit out of that something like that where Vico, bless his heart, not in a southern way, but in a legitimate way, has been working his ass off as far as radio shows and appearances and things like that. And he's a very lovable guy. And, you wouldn't know it by looking at him, but very lovable guy.
Well, I was thinking the same thing, and was is gonna say hats off to Vico for getting in there and kicking in doors and just kind of making people uncomfortable until they fall in love with him, because he's just that kind of guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He has an incredible way of doing that. I don't understand it. I don't think I ever will, but
it's his superpower, bro.
It really is.
I mean, he wears.
God, the first class that I was in with him in college, I was like, should I punch him? I think I'm going to punch him. Can I punch him? And Scott was like, nah, don't punch him. He's all right. Like, he'll grow on you. And sure enough, it's just his way, right? Which is really cool. You can't ask for a cooler dude and a more infectious personality.
Yeah.
And so you got to love that about the guy, and all the things that he's been able to do with Bearded Viking and Vikings, Outlaws, and Cowboys. And we've digressed a little bit from the mental health. We're in the toot our own horn category right now, but I mean, really, the whole thing started off as a joke, right? Let's try and make some toilet bowl hooch and not go blind, and we'll just do it for ourselves, right? And then we're like, maybe you should start a company, guy. And he's like, no, I don't want to start a company. And then all of a sudden he started a company, and here we are 2 years down the road through all the blood, sweat, and whiskey. We've made it happen. So, and mead,
Well, it just goes to show I mean, you can cite any small business that's been successful, around the country, around the world, or whatever, but it just goes to show that a lot of heart, a lot of determination, a lot of hard work really goes a long way. And he said it a million times, especially to us, the team, is that we're at the starting line. I mean, we've nowhere near made it, or we've nowhere near even come close to the first fucking mile. Like, we're still at the starting line, and we are determined to finish this race no matter what it takes.
Yeah. And on that, let's take a break and hear from our sponsors, huh?
Hey, why not?
Hey, meatheads, meat maidens, beardos, and everyone in between. The boat here for the Bearded Viking, reminding you that our mead is a new go-to drink for all occasions. Poured out of the fridge, over ice, in a cocktail, in a slushie, or even heated up on a chilly night to warm up. Any way you pour it, you won't be disappointed. With front port shipping available in over 40 states across the U.S., Bearded Viking Mead Co. gives you the freedom to meet up anywhere, anytime. So snag your bottles at beardedviking.com. Gather your crew, pop the cork, pour them high, raise your glass, and shock 'em always, gang.
All right. Well, so back to our regularly scheduled program. But yeah, no, definitely big ups to Vico for just being who he is. We're gonna pump his head up a little bit more after he listens to this. But I mean, you can't discount the work that the guy does, and the amount of buzz that he gets, for sure.
Yeah, and his ideas on taking the Bearded Viking to the next level and the next level and the next level are fantastic, and I can't wait until we can bring all that to fruition. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. So are you ready to get
into... Not stopping with mead.
No, hell no. So are you ready to get into the conspiracy, the scary, the unknown?
I'm ready. You gave a little hooch ball to the listeners a little earlier, but I think it's going to be explosive.
I'm telling you, well, and I just did some stuff that could be explosive too. I just went with citrus and wintergreen, so accidentally on purpose. So we'll see how that fucking works out. Like and comment. Anyway,
fantastical.
So I don't know what the fuck you've been doing lately, but speaking of fires and things of the sort, we've had a big explosion at a uh, geyser in Yellowstone.
You know what freaks me out is we were talking about this a couple casts ago, and you're like, war doesn't scare me. The kids don't scare me. What scares me is Yellowstone blowing up.
Yeah, I think it's
And what happens?
so
Motherfucking Yellowstone.
so so we've talked about Yellowstone a little bit, right?
Hmm.
And the actual caldera, the super volcano, the caldera, as it were, underneath Yellowstone, has been pushing the elevation of the Yellowstone floor up. Okay, so I'd have to double check, and I'm sure Rob will put the inches or feet or however much it's risen. And if he doesn't, I'm gonna be really disappointed. Not mad, but disappointed. Because he's our Jamie. He's our comment Jamie.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's our comment Jamie,
He's
and
our fact checker.
yeah, I can't wait to go live because that's gonna be his job.
Dude, he's
he
gonna have
is
the
Jamie.
finger on the pulse.
Yeah, he really is. And so
Hold
it's
on,
actually yeah, you're wrong.
Hold on, guy.
And then we'll get to debate. We'll be master debaters. So that caldera has actually risen in the past. I think it's over the last 10 years. It's actually risen in elevation. So it's basically, bubbling up because of the pressure of the caldera, right? And so this isn't much conspiracy, but it's kind of science fact.
Yeah.
So we had this little explosion, and it happens from time to time, and it has happened on different geysers in the past where they've really just, built up and just exploded more
Like a
so than they
shit.
usually do. Yeah. Well, this one has never done that, and in recorded history, it has not done that of the park,
Really?
the recorded history of the park, and it really took off, and I don't think anybody got hurt, but it blew like half the walkway off and just really rained down some hate and discontent on
Yeah, there's
the poor people that were out there trying to pet fuzzy cows and see geysers go off.
yeah.
And
Yeah, see steam come out of holes.
yeah, everybody likes to see a little bit of steam out of a hole every once in a while. And so it was a little bit scary for the people that were there. And I was like, okay, well, that is neat, and it's also slightly alarming. But what was not in the news, at least the American news as much, is Mount Stromboli in Italy is erupting right now.
Really?
And Mount Stromboli sits over the second largest caldera that we know of in the world. Yellowstone being number one, the biggest, and the caldera that sits. And I don't know what the name of the caldera is underneath Stromboli. It's probably Italian, and I probably couldn't say it anyway. And but this volcano started to erupt, and with its eruption, the potential for Vesuvius to go off because it's connected to the same caldera is actually really high. And there started to become earthquakes have started under that whole area, and so they're worried about Vesuvius going off again now too. So there's this huge evacuation plan, and people have evacuated this immediate area for now. And it's one of those things that, so everybody talks about a nuclear winter, and we've talked about if Yellowstone went off, that's it. It's game over.
Mm-hmm.
Most like the world is it's cooked.
Yeah.
By cooked, I mean it's going to be really cold. Like crops won't grow, things like that. And so what this is doing is it's pumping a bunch of stuff, carbon, um, and just a whole bunch of stuff into the atmosphere. And, probably most likely, because I'm not an alarmist, but it's probably just letting off a little bit of steam. You know what I mean?
You're a conspiracy factist.
I'm just saying. It could happen. So if this thing really goes off and Vesuvius goes off, that whole caldera is going to relieve itself of all the pressure that it has, right? So if it gets too unstable, it will cause a volcanic winter, basically. And a volcanic winter is the same as a nuclear winter without the fallout, essentially. Yeah. Blocks out the sun, and they're saying that it has the potential, if it goes off, that it could impact the world climate by 2 degrees Celsius. And we're Americans, so we don't really give a fuck about Celsius. But 2 degrees upwards of, or down or up in Celsius or Fahrenheit is the same fucked situation. Actually impact everybody in the world, with the exception of maybe like the North Pole and the South Pole.
Wow. Well, and yeah, you're talking, yeah.
So my point being is, yeah, war doesn't really scare me, and nuclear war is not really on the docket, I don't think. But volcanoes can do whatever the fuck they want.
Whenever they want.
Right. And with Stromboli going out, and this is 3 days ago, and Etna went off 4 weeks ago in Italy. Italy's on fire right now. Stuff is exploding left and right. There's just Italians running for the hills, or
really
the ocean. I don't know where the fuck they run when the volcano goes off. It's not a huge place. And
they run for the boot.
My thought is because with my scholastic learning of how this shit works, is that very well could have been Yellowstone letting off pressure.
Didn't Yellowstone let off some stuff a few years back? Well, maybe not a few years back, but maybe around a decade ago. Wasn't there some scare around Yellowstone doing some stuff?
Yeah, and I think it had to do a lot with the rise and fall of Yellowstone. And so for reference, like Stromboli the last time, and I think I'm saying it right. Yeah, Stromboli. Yeah, fuck you. I don't know. If I'm wrong, spell it phonetically in the comments.
All the Italians listening, and you know, spell it phonetically in the chat for us.
Yeah, all of those that are
we mean it, no disrespect.
The Italian VPN, Vesuvius is scary, especially for that guy that was jacking it and like encased in ash. Kudos to that guy. There's a volcano going off and he's just jacking it. That's awesome. Post a picture here. I mean, it's an active volcano, right? So these things go off. So the last time it went off was the 3rd of July in 2019. So it likes to do its thing in July, which is cool. It wants to hang out and do things in the summer. I appreciate that. But, it's still really scary to know that the second biggest caldera in the world is under Italy. I think everybody knows anything about, I don't know, volcanoes, tectonics, the world knows that Italy and that part of the world is very, very volcanically active. Mm-hmm. But I just wanted to see how that makes you feel after recent conversations.
A little freaked out, because I think that if, obviously, I've said before, that with there's, when there's tsunamis in the world and there's hurricanes and now this going on and, in Italy, um, it's not at my front door, so it's really hard to react to it, um, with my hair on fire. Um, so, I just, say a prayer for those people, in those situations, especially with natural disasters and like when, Katrina hit and all that kind of stuff. Like, um, yeah, it was very tragic and very tragic to the families and the, in the region and everything like that. But it wasn't at my front door, so I really, it didn't affect me personally. And maybe that's insensitive, but it's the truth. But like I said, and you always, say a prayer for those families in those countries and, everybody involved and the first responders and stuff. Um, but you look at a place like Yellowstone and, that's literally at our front door or back door because, if that caldera decides it wants to eat, it's going to eat all of us, and we're going to experience that. And I think that God, that almost seems worse than, you know, nuclear war, to be honest, because I mean, we'll be able to feel the blast. We'll be able to, like, I think there'll be, multiple earthquakes here after that happens. And then, we really have to kind of prepare for the worst if that's if, our dwellings aren't destroyed in the earthquakes. And for what kind of fallout that brings, that's kind of something new to me. Like, I don't know what that would bring. Like in a nuclear fallout, yeah, I mean the radiation, you get radiation sickness and you expect to die. But what is that? Does it choke out, the oxygen? Obviously, the plants and everything die. You're gonna have animals that are dying that we rely on for food. Um, but what does it do to us as humans? What is that kind of nuclear, or what is that kind of um fallout, a volcano, an exploding volcano fallout do to us, as humans?
Yeah, and with this thing, it says it's been almost continuous for the last 2,000 years as
Hmm.
far as, being active and eruptions and stuff, but it's really getting after it right now. So, you know, potentially it could happen. The likelihood is pretty fucking low. But the silver lining in this whole thing is Snoop Dogg. I know that nobody saw that coming, but if anybody's going to get us through this, it's probably going to be the Snoop
It's
because
gonna
of
be the Snoop loop.
because of all the Indo, So Snoop is going to teach us how to grow crops, Indo,
And
without the sun. So we're really going to have to rely on Snoop if this thing goes off. He's going to be a national treasure in this whole situation.
Thank God for Snoop.
So I mean, if there's a lot of ocean that it has to go through, I mean, because essentially it's like a island type thing. It's pushed itself up,
Mm.
but there's volcanoes they're kind of cool, right? And I think we have uh, a lower understanding of them uh, than what volcanologists put off. I think they think they know a whole lot more than they really do. I mean, they can't even figure out where the fuck Atlantis was. Um, but where there's so many there, I mean, you take Hawaii for example, in the Ring of Fire.
Mhm.
There's hundreds of volcanoes that are constantly going off there, and they're it's constantly building a new island. and the landmass of different islands in Hawaii grows exponentially year after year, and there's different islands that are pushing up, right? Because the water doesn't stop this shit from happening. Volcanoes erupt underwater. It's pretty neat. It's probably really fucking hot.
Like it's a weird thing because like I always thought like, well, if it's underwater, then it's not a threat.
Yeah, it's not scary, right?
But it really is.
Yeah. So it's kind of it's borderline scary, but also kind of cool. Not for the people that are by it in Italy, in case it really blows its top. Because I mean, we've seen what Mount St. Helens did, and just the impact that had on the whole Pacific Northwest. And I think pretty much all the way down to Idaho and Utah, northern Utah got ash from that. So the impact that this could have across Italy is pretty wild.
It is. I was going to say the thing that scares me the most about them is that, yeah, we can study them all we want, but we can't control them. I think that's what scares me the most about it is that there's no way to control them. There's no way to stop them. There's no way to, curb them or anything like that. I think that's probably the scariest thing about them. That really kind of like would keep me up at night if I thought about it a lot.
Yeah.
If I was in Italy.
Yeah, I don't want you to stay up late thinking about Italian volcanoes.
Like if I was in Italy or close to Italy, then I would be staying up night thinking about it. But it was just like the last earthquake we had here, like right there at the tail end of COVID. It was like, really? Like we've just had this COVID thing that was fucking ridiculous, and now you're throwing an earthquake at us? Like what? And then I realized that, oh yeah, earthquakes are a thing. They can happen at any time, and we don't know when they're going to happen. Maybe we can predict them, but there was no talks about this one, you know what I mean? And it just hit, and we're like, and there's no way to control it. It's just grab onto a wall or cover your head and hope for the best,
Right. And like right now it's not huge, right? But it's bigger than it's taken off in a while, which could be a little bit scary. And I think it's saying that one hiker died already, and a few others were injured because they were, hiking a fucking volcano.
Yeah. I don't know if I would have done that.
Yeah. I'm not a huge volcano hiker myself.
Please tell me they were at least scientists, weren't they?
No, it was just some poor fuck that was just hiking a mountain and just, I just alive, dead. But yeah, I think it's very thought provoking, especially for our little conspiracy corner or current events. I mean, we do fires now, so I figured we might as well do volcanoes because they're hot as fuck too. Right now, we're catching the smoke from Cali and Oregon, and last thing we want to do is catch some smoke from Italy. There's a whole lot of shit going on in the world, and we're catching a lot of smoke.
Oh shit.
That lava's fucking scary.
Oh yeah, lava's very hot, and lava keeps a lot of things on fire right now. But you mentioned Hawaii. Isn't Hawaii on fire right now?
I don't know. I shut down the fire report. I would imagine.
Oh, my bad. Yeah.
I'd imagine there's some shit going on. Oh yeah,
there's probably some. Yeah.
The
fire report was really fucking up.
Yeah, it was pulling so much internet, the lights started to go out. I had to shut down the fire report.
Next week.
Yeah, we'll tune in next week to find out whether Hawaii's on fire.
If Hawaii,
or just go look at the fucking Canada, fucking North American Fire Watch. Just go check that out. I don't want to keep the information to ourselves, right? I want the people to know. I want them to
We
be
got to get
informed.
it out there, bro. We
Yeah.
have to get it out there.
Yeah, if you want your news a week late, we're your guys.
Some people don't watch the news, man. I mean, they get their news from us, and who are we to keep the fire report from everybody?
And volcanoes are a bitch. Just like you said, they're totally unpredictable. It's like buying a new dog. You never know when that dog's gonna bite somebody, but eventually it's gonna bite somebody.
Or shit in the house.
That's true. That's very true.
I don't mind dogs being bitey, but I hate when they shit in the house.
Yeah, it's really messy.
Yeah.
So this next topic is we're moving on from volcanoes. This is slightly more terrifying to me, and in my eyes, a little bit more real than the world blowing up.
Yeah, this one's a little vague on the volcanoes. On the agenda.
Yeah, I really wanted to fuck you up with this one. So there's this podcast out there called Confessionals. And basically what they do is they kind of go through and they get different guests, and they kind of talk about their different experiences in paranormal, military, just kind of a lot of different crazy stuff. And, they get a lot of views and a lot of likes and stuff like that. And they had this guy on recently, and he more or less is talking about that the family that he's a part of and the family that he's kind of gotten away from, they, at least people in the family, can trace their lineage back to the Nephilim or the Fallen. And we've talked about the Nephilim and the Fallen. And he said that in his blood, there's probably some of that as well. And you start listening to this and you think the guy is probably a kook, or, he's been hit in the head a lot. But then he goes along to talk about his family and the experience that he's had. And there are some things that start to make sense and things that start to hit when it comes to child trafficking and blood sacrifices and you basically drinking blood for power and to keep people young. What? It is very thought-provoking.
Like that's their fountain of youth.
And it's also something that has been on the internet quite a bit, and I forget the guy's name, but he's basically been consuming the blood of his son. And it has made him like younger. He looks like he's about the same age as this kid, and he's in his 50s. It's a really fucked up thing. And what he's saying is in this elite class, and he doesn't actually give the family name out so far into it that I've gotten. And he's talking about how at some point they have to make that choice between like basically vampirism or lycanism. So vampires and werewolves, and the different types of training programs that they take these kids, and they're sacrificing these kids and basically going over the roadmap of how you get into becoming a shapeshifter, and how some of these people that want to get out of this feel like they're unredeemable and that they can't get away from it at a certain point. And I'll send this to you, but I wanted to catch you off guard because I think it's fun. And at some point, these people basically have to kill a loved one. And that kind of perpetuates them becoming, what we don't say at night. And he's basically talking about the old way and the new way. So the old saying that the old magic is stronger than the injectables of the new technology and stuff like that, like the super soldier serums and everything that people talk about, that everybody just kind of gaffed off as, yeah, okay, whatever. But it sounds to me more and more like it's a real thing, and that he said it's basically a family of Luciferians that are doing this stuff. And it's a really fucked up road that they go down. If you want to listen to it, obviously I don't know these guys or anything like that, but it's the Confessionals, and it's episode 665, and it's called The Bloodline of Monsters. And it's a legit host, legit guests, and they're kind of going down the checklist of how this happens and how it's very much real, and how he's seen people transform. And once they transform, if things are not done right, they're stuck that way.
I'm still stuck on how they're all connected, like the Nephilim all the way down to what we don't say at night. Like that is a crazy connection. And I guess, my question is, I'm definitely gonna have to listen to this. But really, like, so basically the fountain of youth is blood and sacrifice. And then depending on which path you want to take, which is the only choice you get once you start down that path, that's what you're
that way.
Yeah, you're that way. But are you that way for, are you that way forever? Are you that way for centuries? Are you that way for how long? I don't know. And where do these people live? Where do they consume? Where do they, are they at the local grocery store? Are they in your neighborhoods, or are they sequestered in like
No, the answer is yes.
Weird mansions. Yeah.
The answer is yes, like to all the above. Like he actually gave locations of where it's done. He's talked about Lake Havasu. He's talked about London Bridge. He's talked about the nursery rhyme of London Bridge is falling down. And for those of you that don't know, the person who purchased the land, the majority of the land at Lake Havasu, there was military tunnels and bases in Havasu that was basically a stop-off during World War II and after World War II. And so there's a magnificent amount of tunnels and everything through the desert and in that area. And the same guy that purchased this was part of the family, and he purchased the London Bridge. They dismantled the London Bridge. They went over the River Thames, and they reassembled it in Lake Havasu. So if you do a quick Google search, you'll find out the London Bridge is in fact been rebuilt in Lake Havasu, and it has been for quite a few years now. And he's talking about the hollow parts of the London Bridge where they would do, torture and basically sacrificing kids and things like that. And after listening to it, it just makes you want to hold your kids even tighter at night. And he really goes into it and starts explaining it. And, somebody's only a kook until you find out they're not a kook. And for somebody to come forward and start talking about that is pretty fucking scary. And we already know about adrenochrome and the fact that the consumption of adrenochrome is something that elites have been doing for a long time. Epstein Island, he talks about Epstein Island. And the fact that they can collect adrenochrome and it's more readily available and it keeps you younger if you can collect it from somebody that's super duper young,
It's super
like
young.
trafficked kids.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody that's for saving trafficked kids, I'm 100% behind.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't read a ton into it as far as that goes, but you had Operation Underground Railroad, and
Mm-hmm.
then they went after the CEO, saying that he was touching kids and all kinds of stuff like that, and the founder and CEO of it, and then it just kind of disappeared, right? Because it was getting a little bit too big and it was starting to touch on too much, and I think they went after him for it. And
that was super odd. Yeah, and I've been of that opinion since that shit happened.
yeah, and I know people that actually have worked with that organization and know him, and they're like, there's no goddamn way, because of the amount of operations and everything that he did. Now, that stuff just kind of disappeared out of the news. But we already know that when people start getting too close and they want to attack somebody, all of a sudden there's a computer from 1995 or some shit running Windows 10 or Windows 97 or whatever that's full of kiddie porn that they just magically find.
Yeah.
And
Well, shame
and
and
then they're like,
defame them.
yeah, and then we're gonna put this guy away because they were sniffing a little bit too close. They're about to let a little bit too much information out, right? So the Epstein stuff has disappeared out of the news. The what's his name? What's his cohort? What's her name? I'm forgetting her name. Basically, the other chick that was his number two that got arrested and is still in custody. That's pretty much all disappeared out of the news.
Yeah, that's been
It's
washed. Yeah, that's been washed.
It's gone. And the little black book and the flight logs and everything like that have started to disappear. It's an election season. Everything gets swept under the rug. Ghislaine Maxwell, that's what it is. Was his number two.
Yeah.
That was imprisoned. And she hasn't killed herself yet. There's a whole lot of people that saying, obviously Epstein didn't kill himself, but there's a lot of people that have said, we've seen him.
Yeah.
And that he's not dead. The island is not shut down. The island is still functioning. There's still things going on at the island. You can't just pull a boat up and walk around and it's deserted at this point. So I'm inclined to start believing what this guy is having to say.
So I'm looking up this email that I got, and I do this. I'm starting another cast with a buddy of mine. It's called the Rude Barn. But it's about this kind of stuff and current events and stuff. But he sent me a list today of the deep state target list. And I'll have to send it to you. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's got to be like Walensky's on here, Bloomberg's on here, Azar's on here. Obviously the Obamas are on here, the Clintons are on here. Phillips, Brennan. There's got to be 100 names on here, and I'll have to send this to you. And I guess my question is I wonder how many of those names and those surnames, are connected to this. You know what I mean?
So he's saying that this family basically, once they've groomed and created these fucking monsters that are these people, that they will go forth and basically settle new areas. By settle, they'll come in, and all of a sudden a bunch of land will be bought up. And he's like, the true power is a phone book or a Rolodex. It's not money. It's you call them, and all of a sudden this stuff is done, and you've acquired, the land and everything like that. So he's talking about stuff from Flagstaff, and he talks basically the southwestern United States, and that's kind of specifics that he gives out, and it's old world magic stuff that indigenous people were doing, and indigenous people stayed away from because they knew what could happen with it, and
they knew how dangerous it was.
That it's still in practice with this family and this group of people, and the peaks in Flagstaff are a huge place for it on the summer and winter solstice. So it's like this shit is going on all around us, but everybody's got their nose buried, and nobody sees it because it's kept out of the news. It's kept so secret, and these people are basically burying all this stuff. And these families are controlling everything, and they can trace their bloodlines back to the fallen.
So is he part of that family?
He is and was. He's basically got himself out of that family and sought redemption within like Christianity and everything like that, and is basically trying to redeem himself of these things and the things that he's done.
And so his name is Nathan Reynolds, right?
Yeah.
So what is his plan? What is his goal?
To try and get
other than redemption. So he's trying to get the information out there.
He's trying to get the information out there, through his Christianity, and trying to, stop it or redeem, his own redemption and bring attention to it. But
go ahead.
The whole thing is absolutely fucking terrifying. And the redemption aspect is, yeah, sure, he can be redeemed, but you have a whole fucking family full of Luciferians that are controlling things and that are, larger than basically any kind of police force or military. And you have these families that are above the law and above going after, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And these kind of, that goes back to like, are these the elites that are controlling the country, controlling the world, controlling the, economic states, are back and forth, the ones that we don't want to talk about, the quote unquote deep state. I would have to think so, because they're quote unquote untouchable. And these, huge families that quote unquote rule the world. There's got to be some sort of connection in that, right?
Yeah, I think it definitely goes that deep and deeper. It definitely goes very deep, very high. All the families that you talked about, the deep state, the world. I think it really involves all of it. Because how could one family touch so much and not touch all of it?
Right. And that kind of makes me think of the New World Order, that makes me think of NATO. It makes me think of and then it makes me think on the other side of the spectrum of the cryptids, So when you go down the line, so, if they have to make a choice between this or that, maybe, a lot of those cryptids are, the Luciferians, and, and
they got stuck like that.
Yeah, they got stuck like that. Yeah.
Well, and that's what he said. He said that there's things like that, like lichens and things like that that are basically guarding these properties of these people and guarding these certain areas so people cannot get in.
That makes a fuck ton of sense. And, you know, even in energy form, dude, because you know, I had some stuff down for next week's cast that I was going to bring up. And it was about these certain areas, and we've talked about them before, but these certain areas that have like a certain energy, or you've got cryptids around them, or you've got certain like energy poles or like pole differences and shit around them all around the world. And I mean, could that all be connected? You know what I mean? If you could track down from Nephilim, all you know, the fallen, all the way to, you know, those who shall not be named at night. That's a wide range. So why couldn't it be, you know, why couldn't it be opened up to all this other weird shit?
Yeah, and that's basically what he's saying, is that it's all really, really connected. It's all really, really interconnected. And that the, you know, Indians or the native people, that they knew about this long before the families came here. But if you can track or trace your bloodline all the way back to the fallen, that means that you probably have angel blood in you somewhere. Or what we would consider, you know, the fallen are basically angels that got kicked out of heaven, right? So you could trace your bloodline all the way back to that. Absolutely terrifying. And the fact that the fallen are pissed off, right? Because they got kicked out of heaven, so they started teaching. You know, part of Enoch is actually talking about angels or the fallen teaching humans things that they weren't supposed to know, such as, you know, fire, weapons, war, science, you know, all of that. So it's an interesting podcast. It's an interesting take, and pretty fucking scary. And just for the record, I'm not suicidal. I love my family, love my wife, and I plan on being here for a very long time and not doing anything that's going to put me in jail.
Yeah.
So
I don't own any shotguns.
I mean, I own lots, but not planning on using them on myself.
Yeah. That's a scary road to go down. I don't mind going down on it, and you know, I don't want to think this guy's a kook. I mean, I have to listen to that, because that's far out, man.
You see the dude's face, and like, he's clearly been through some shit. And, you know, as a kid, he said that he had been abused multiple times, like that he had killed people that abused him. And that's the stuff that they kind of use to fuel the fire of hate and discontent into him, to create, you know, the kind of monster that they're trying to create. So, as far as I'm concerned, we've dabbled down this road enough, and I am a God-fearing, life-loving person. So fuck all this. Go look at it for yourselves, and tell us what you think in the comments, because to me, it's fucking scary. And hold your kids really, really tight at night, and don't let your kids get away from you.
Yeah, that's a scary thought.
It really is.
But on that note,
all right.
What do you think, Guy?
I don't know. I think it's probably time that we start wrapping this thing up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think you're right. Well, unless you want to dive down some more paths.
No, I think we've dived down enough scary paths tonight. And
yeah, that one's got me freaked out a little bit, bro.
Yeah, we really fucked up the listeners with that one, so you're welcome.
I hope you're listening because I love the stuff that we talk about, and I love the reactions that we do get. I just want to get more of them and get a broader perspective. I think Rob's gonna have a heyday with this one, and I think you ought to send him the link to that and tell him watch this and then listen to the cast.
Yeah, I'm very interested.
Get him off. Wait until he goes to the mountains first.
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure that I send it to him while he's in his trailer up at the cabin. It takes a lot to freak that guy out, but I think this one is just as scary to the average Joe as it is to the person that is going out in the mountains and hanging out.
Well, this one isn't paranormal scary, and it's all encompassing scary. That's what it is. It's such a broad spectrum that it's everything scary, you know.
That was what was terrifying to me. Was it literally encompassed all of the terrifying things that we talk about, brought it into one, and then yeah,
we've been talking about this stuff for like a year and a half, and this really kind of wrapped it all into one fucking birthday cake.
Yeah, I'm not used to somebody really wrapping the whole cake up for us and then feeding it to us. And
yeah.
I'm not much of a cake guy, but I pretty much ate this whole cake.
Yeah. Shit.
Yeah, nothing like ending the fucking podcast on a downer, right? So let's bring it back up. I don't know how to bring it back up. It was too scary. I'm scared.
It's too scary. Let's wrap it up let's bring it back up with shout outs. I was thinking about the crew, obviously. Obviously they're working hard. They're bottling their balls off. And getting the meat ready to go for the for launch of the new flavors. My apologies if you saw my meeting Monday this week. Obviously you're gonna see this next week, but 2 weeks ago, meeting Monday, I shout out at a couple of flavors that aren't quite ready yet, but we're gonna have the peach and the Lochner, the peach and the huckleberry are gonna be ready for Friday.
Yeah, we got sounds like we got the peach and the Lochner
the Lochner
coming. And we got some new bodies up there that are helping run the thing, and it's really helping out. I do have to give a big shout out to Donnie and or Turnbuckle, as you guys might know him. He had funny story. He showed up last weekend, and we got to have a little bit of FaceTime hanging out, and him and his lovely wife thought that they were running I think it was a 5K or 6K. What is that? What's the name of that race? Spartan race.
Something
Spartan
like that.
race.
Spartan, yeah. Spartan.
Yeah, they thought they were doing a 5 or 6K Spartan race. Showed up early on accident and ended up doing the 13-mile Spartan race.
Yeah, the 13K.
So him and his lovely wife did 13 miles of Spartan race. They basically paid to get their ass kicked at about 8,000, 9,000 feet in elevation in Utah, running up and down mountains and shit. Mm-hmm. Huge shout out to them. They finished it. They finished strong. We got to hang out with them, and they've been kind of trying to reach their fitness goals, and they've just been absolutely killing it. So the amount of motivation and intestinal fortitude that takes, I'm super proud of those two. Super proud of Donnie. And I think it's really fucking cool what you guys are doing. That's awesome. Even though you got your ass kicked and showed up to the wrong one, I think it's fucking awesome, because I would have said, fuck that, and turned around and gone home, or went to the lake and dipped my toes in, went boating or something. Good for you guys. Big shout out. Big ups to those guys.
That's dope. That's dope.
Wonderful, wonderful people.
That is dope. I do, you know, it's very rare that we give shout outs to the internal team. But I want to give a shout out to the marketing squad. Getting it done on the socials, getting it done everywhere else, getting it done, you know, on the ground, and the sales team, you know, rocking it out, and doing what we have to do to get the word out there to buy Bearded Viking mead.
Yeah,
they're doing a great job.
Yeah, Tro, One Horse, you.
Tro, One Horse. Yeah, I've done all I can, but I got to give it up to these guys, man. They've really picked up the baton, so to speak, and have really ran with it. And so I'm proud of those guys, and we got nowhere else to go but up from here, baby.
Yeah, a lot of cool stuff that we can't talk about that's coming at you in the next, well, I guess the upcoming months, right? There's a whole lot of things that could potentially change. You could be seeing a whole lot more of us, whether you want to or not. But as we reach those hurdles, we'll let you guys know.
Yeah, we'll let you know if these mustaches are gonna grace your presence.
Oh, there's gonna be so much of this mustache.
So much mustache in your future.
Oh yeah, people are. It's gonna
And I want to remind everybody about the Mead and Mondays. We talked about a little bit earlier if you were listening, but Mead and Mondays with the boat, you know, I'll throw it out there and we'll have a little bit of fun with that. I'll give you updates on what's coming up and what's coming down your lane, and what you can look forward to. We are looking forward to some super fun stuff, but you know, I gotta leave it for Mead and Mondays. I can't divulge everything here, but or I won't have anything to talk about. So
yeah, we got if you want to order some back to your door, get on it fast, because these lovely ladies behind me, we only have about 10% of the stock left, and it's going really fast. So if you fell in love with some of these flavors, jump on them quick, because they're not coming back for a while.
Yeah, you aren't gonna see them.
Yeah, we got a whole new box set, as some would say. So get on there, order them, go visit the meadery, pick them up, hit up pretty much the stores between Bozeman and Billings, and even into Billings, and grab you some off the shelves. We're in some of the stores up there. We're in some of the liquor stores, so go get you some.
Mm-hmm. And beardedviking.com, you can always order it there. We're gonna ship straight to your door. For those states that we don't ship to, those like 9 or 6 states that we don't ship to, we're sorry, like New Jersey.
I'm working on it. Hey,
we're working on it, man. I told Dr. Mike today, I was like, dude, you gotta use your power to work on the DABC there, man, because they're assholes. So, but we're working on it. We're working on it hard.
Yeah, I'm working on Utah as we speak. So, pretty soon it's gonna start showing up in Utah. We're really excited about that, and let's go. Let's fucking go. I got a meeting on Monday. We got some people that are ready to taste it and get us in the doors in Utah, and you'll be able to start picking up bottles and ordering bottles straight from them. So it'll be exciting.
I'm excited for that, so I won't have to go all the way to Montana to buy our mead.
To get your own bottles.
Yeah, right. I'll pay a little extra if I can just go down to my favorite bar and pick up a few bottles. It's very expensive to
drive to Montana to get your mead, but you know what? It's worth it. Yeah. And as long as the Caldera holds up, it's a nice, beautiful drive.
And don't forget, if you are in Montana, Thirsty Thursdays, they're always a thing. They're always fun. We always have food trucks down there. We always got fires. We always got smiles. and just make it a part of your week. You know what I mean? Even if you stay for an hour or so, or if you stay until the 4 hours that we're open, like get down there, say hi to the crew, give them high fives for all their hard work, and buy and drink meat. You won't be disappointed.
Yeah, and even if the food trucks aren't there, you'll get to see our fearless leader flipping burgers. And who doesn't want to see Vico flipping burgers? Take pictures, post them online, tag us. We got to see Vico flipping burgers. Everybody needs to go see.
It's our favorite.
It's like a circus act.
Yeah, it is.
But on that note, stay weird, beardos. Cheers, motherfuckers.
Shakamolas, gang. Do it.
And we are fucking out.
Hips moving all back.